improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Monday, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate Littlefield behind the glass for us today, getting you ready for Kings Bulls after the Kings take down the Minnesota Timberwolves in their own home. Only what, Chris? 7 losses at home, and the Kings have given them two of them. But if you ask Chris's favorite player, Jaden McDaniels, is it a big deal? He's still saying no. He still says, hey, we're not really worried about them. This isn't verbatim. We will have that sound for you later in the show, but this isn't the first time. Talk to somebody from the Nuggets, right? Oh, well, we were missing this guy and that guy. You hear from the Timberwolves. Oh, well, we were missing so-and-so, and we didn't have this, we didn't have that. It's something about the Kings that gives them that underdog chip, and not just the underdog chip, but on the other side of this, teams just aren't worried about the fact that they are beating you at a higher clip than anyone else. They went 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets, okay? And the Denver Nuggets have missed a lot of guys, a lot of games. You still won those games. 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets. They have beaten the Timberwolves twice on the road in the Timberwolves' house, and the Timberwolves have only lost 7 games there. But you talk to everybody in Denver circles, Minnesota circles, we're not worried about the Kings. Why is that? We break all of that down and more. Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Great. Actually, it's been 8 games now because the Timberwolves lost yesterday to the Clippers in a really exciting game. So you can add that to the list of things, and I think overall that's probably a good thing for a team like the Kings, who, you know, maybe if they do mess around and have a hot month of March, you can maybe find yourself in a position where, you know, maybe those top 4 seeds don't look so crazy. So as much infighting as there is up top is actually strangely good for the Kings. So feeling good, had a great weekend in terms of standings watch for the Kings too. Suns definitely helped out the Kings a bit. Mavericks helped out the Kings a bit. Warriors got absolutely demolished yesterday. So it's hard to not be feeling good today.
Somehow you said demolished, and that still doesn't do enough justice. I'm telling you right now, I tell everybody, my mother said I could do a lot of things, right? The 2 things she said I couldn't do is be a surgeon because I don't have the most steady hands, and be a mathematician. I literally saw that score. And just at first, I said, I need a TI 89 calculator.
Yeah, that was tough.
I need something to figure out how much the Warriors lost by. Yep. It was a joke. And the Warriors, you talk about burning that tape, they are going to incinerate that tape. And here's the thing, Chris. You sound good, right? You're optimistic. But we said we weren't going to do this.
Yeah, we sure did.
Because
I think it was a week ago today.
Let's just put it literally was. And let's just put the rat on the table. We know what tonight could be.
Yes.
And tonight could be what it's been for the Kings after a really good win.
Right, feeling great.
It's time to lay an egg.
Yes.
It's time to lay an egg. And I'm hoping that's not the case, but this is what it's been for this team basically all season long. This is how you end up where they're at, fighting to stay out of the play-in. And the same thing happened literally a week ago. Okay, and you go out and you lose. Oh, well, it's the Heat and it's Spoelstra, and they didn't have their guys, okay? The Bulls are stuck in basketball purgatory right now. They're not terrible, don't get me wrong, but they're not playing for anything.
They're not doing nothing.
They're not doing anything, okay? The Kings, they have higher expectations, I would say. So how do you react and how do you show up when everybody and their mother knows that this is the type of game that the Kings will trick off?
It's impossible. I mean, Because now they've even used up the excuse of, De'Aaron's not playing, and this team just can't play well without De'Aaron Fox. Now they've beaten probably one of the best teams in the Western Conference in their arena without De'Aaron Fox.
Anthony Edwards left at haltime.
Yeah, he sure did. Whatever. You beat who's in front of you.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
So they really have ran out of excuses. I mean, you have to be able to take care of a Chicago team. You hope De'Aaron Fox can play today, and you just hope that we don't use De'Aaron Fox playing almost as an excuse. Well, it took some time to get reacclimated to De'Aaron out there, and now, I just hope that we can just have a normal game where De'Aaron is additive to what we saw on Friday, and I just hope it's all good. But yeah, you're completely right. Everything that we've seen from this team so far this year tells you tonight's going to be a letdown. I mean, it's the one thing that we've prepared ourselves for at this point in the season is inconsistency. And the team plays one of their best performances of the year. Stop me if you've heard this before. They play one of their best performances of the year, and then they have an easy on paper game the very next game up. Everything says that this game should be easy or easier than the competition that you've been playing here before. And that's another thing to worry about, is that you're going from playing, Nuggets and Heat and Clippers and Timberwolves to then this huge drop off of playing the Bulls. You have to attack this game with the same amount of intensity that you attacked all those games. It's a lot like that first game outside the All-Star break where we talked about them playing against the Spurs. You almost have to treat these games more seriously than you treat those the games against good teams, because you just have to get these games down the stretch here. When every game's important, you cannot drop games that you're supposed to win. And this is 100% no way to slice it besides the Kings need to win this game. They should, they need to, and they have to.
They have to. So we have plenty to break down with the Kings, plenty of sound from Jaden McDaniels, also some stats on Malik Monk's big night. I mean, you got to double check, Chris. Malik Monk had 4 points. 4 points.
Doesn't make sense.
With 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. He finished the game with 39 points. 39.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, it was ridiculous. That's the definition of taking over a game, and they needed it. I mean, the biggest thing is they really needed it without De'Aaron in that game. It still ended up going to overtime, but every single one of those Malik Monk buckets was huge. And, we can have a conversation about down the stretch. Is that exactly how we would want it to look? No. But at the same time, you have to give it to your hot guy at that point. I mean, he pretty much had 30 points in a 12-minute span. You just got to give him the ball, get out the way, and live with the results. And he was incredible. I mean, that's, maybe with the Clipper game last year, withstanding, that was his best performance as a King. And it was when it was needed. And it looked like it was going to be a Sabonis game. And then Malik just completely took it over and didn't look back. It was incredible.
Yeah. And when we spoke with Dane Moore last week, who covers the T-Wolves, the whole thing is the T-Wolves, in their mind, their fan base and their media, elite defensively, and the issue is offense. So it's crazy to me that if you are an elite defensive team like the T-Wolves, even missing Anthony Edwards, it's crazy to me that you let one dude beat you, Malik Monk. And it's a testament to Malik Monk and the work he's put in and the bag he's about to get this summer, and hopefully it's in Sacramento, because for him to do that, not against the Pacers, who play no defense, not against these teams that don't play defense, against the T-Wolves.
Right.
And it's one dude. I mean, God bless you, Kevin Huerter. When he got past the ball, he literally shot it because he had no choice. He did not want to shoot that basketball later, because at that, and some of it is, hey, I'm kind of out of rhythm at this point. Malik's been doing his thing. But we all knew that it was going to be Malik Monk towards the end, including everybody in Minnesota in that arena, and it didn't matter. It simply didn't matter. So we're breaking Malik Monk's big night down. And is it time? This is what happens. We're in the cycle now. Malik Monk balls out. Who's going to be the first to text? Who's going to be first to call in? All guests and callers join us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Who's going to be the first person to ask the question, why isn't Malik Monk starting? Who will be the first? I know you're out there. I know you want to do it. Or on the Sac Chat. Shout out to the Sac Chat. So we know that's coming too. Caitlin Clark breaks Pistol Pete's record. They're calling her Ponytail Pete. That's what I saw. during one of the shows earlier this morning. So Caitlin Clark, that was must-see TV, Chris. I was sitting there watching. What was that? Was that yesterday? That was just yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
So she breaks a record. LeBron James breaks 40K. If you are a hater, you'd say it's just longevity or whatever the case is, but you got to give him his flowers, give credit where credit is due. A lot of records being broken this weekend, the same theme. The Combine, Xavier Worthy breaks a record. We got to chill now. Okay, Xavier Worthy from Texas. I know Jake Johnson is somewhere saying hook 'em horns, but here's the thing. Now people want to say, he ran it faster than Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, I think, had sweats on, and he probably had his cell phone in his pocket. Yeah. You say, let's not do that.
Let's relax.
There's levels to this, okay? But Xavier Worthy, does it interest you? And last but certainly not least, the Niners, both teams get their guy, right? Niners get their guy. Nick Sorensen gets promoted. You bring in Brandon Staley as an assistant head coach. We will try to figure out what that actually means. Anthony Lynn has gone on to Washington. And the Giants get their guy, Matt Chapman, to lock down third base. What does that mean for the other infielders? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, the Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
A lot of records being broken lately. A bunch of records were broken this weekend, and we are hoping that the Kings, maybe they'll break a 3-point record tonight. Maybe they will do that tonight against the Chicago Bulls as they try to keep rolling after beating the T-Wolves, the Timberwolves, who are no longer, you can't say they beat the 1 seed because they are no longer the 1 seed, thanks to, in part, the Sacramento Kings, and then going on to lose to the Clippers. We'll get into pocket watching. Would have been nice for the Clippers to lose, actually, to the T-Wolves, but that didn't happen even without Westbrook. You have the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are now in first place, and they're also the youngest team in the NBA. Extremely impressive stuff out of that group, even if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a foul merchant. Let's go to Sam, 916-339-1140, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Sam? You're on Stiles and Watkins.
Hey,
what you got for us?
Good morning, guys. Hey, listen, great conversation. Well, listen, my point is that if the most valuable player does not come from the NBA champion or the runner-up, then what Sabonis has done with the triple-doubles this year has to put him in the top 3.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can deny it. I mean, and talk about Luka Doncic getting 50 points. So what? He's not winning. His team's not winning. So Sabonis has had a much better season than Luka Doncic, and he plays much better team work than Luka Doncic. So anyway, I think that's what should happen, and I hope it does.
Thanks for the call, Sam. The last time I think they had waited on the ladder, the MVP ladder, because of the All-Star break. They released the new one now, though,
yes,
right? It's out, and he's still
ladder. Yes, he's still 6th. The ladder right now is looking Jokic number 1, and that makes some sense. I mean, obviously he has the pedigree. They're also a half game out of first place right now. Shea is in 2nd. Of course, as you just said, his team's in 1st right now. Giannis is in 3rd. His team is in 2nd. Jason Tatum's in 4th. Of course, the Celtics are out of control. The Celtics, besides beating the Warriors by 50 yesterday, the Celtics have won 80% of their games. How insane is that?
Yeah.
And Luka is 5th, with Sabonis being 6th. And I guess, I would probably agree that, not that it really matters who's 5th and who's 6th in the MVP, but I would probably agree that at this moment in time, Sabonis probably deserves to be higher than Luka. I think, you look at Luka's numbers and they are insane. He's leading the NBA in points per game, 34.4 points, 8 rebounds, 9.7 assists. So he's doing dang near triple-double numbers himself. But, of course, Sabonis is, A, on a more winning team, just barely, but is on a team that has been higher in the standings all year. And, B, I mean, Luka's stats are a bit inflated because he is the center of his offense.
Right.
More so even than Sabonis.
More so than Sabonis, which seems crazy. And we've talked about, well, why don't you just blitz him? Why don't you just send 2? And Luka he knows how to get out of that. Obviously, if it was that easy, people would do it all the time. And honestly, you could say the same thing about Shea. I was watching Shea last night, and you sit there and you wonder, why aren't the teams, maybe I'm just so used to blitzing because the Kings blitz everybody. Why aren't teams sending a blitz at these guys? And there's clearly a reason that they can't. And we've seen this also we've seen it work against the Clippers. We've seen it not work against the Clippers. But to Sam's point, I think that those guys are right there. They're going to sit there. And I do appreciate that at least this season. The problem is you gave Russell Westbrook that MVP when he averaged a triple-double, but they were the 6th seed.
Exactly.
That doesn't normally happen.
No, it never happens.
So the triple-double thing can only take you so far, and I think that I would not seeing Sabonis in the 6th spot as far as the MVP ladder, and this is NBA.com, mind you, seems appropriate to me. I don't find it to be disrespectful based on who is ahead of him. I think if you were, and there are people in Boston who think that Jason Tatum should be higher because of how ridiculous their record is. But Jason Tatum is honestly
is deep.
Yeah, he is suffering from a version of
suffering from success, honestly.
Exactly. And it's not the same names as the Warriors with KD thing, but it's a similar situation. Hey, your team is stacked. It's hard to determine your value. We know how valuable you are, but your numbers are suffering from it. So based on what Chris just read, the most recent MVP ladder, I don't have any problems with Sabonis at 6 and Doncic at 5. I think that they'll probably continue to flip-flop as their teams flip-flop in the seeding. Speaking of Chris Watkins, if the playoffs started today, we have to call up our guy, Jake Shapiro.
That's right.
Insider for DenverSports.com, who we spoke to last week, because the Nuggets are in the 3 seed and the Kings are in the 6 seed. Hello, darkness, my old friend. We are not in the play-in. You would have the Nuggets right now. How do you feel about that?
Not great, of course. You're not going to feel awesome about playing the defending champs, but at the same time, like, the Kings have beaten them 3 times. Not the most recent time, of course. Definitely not the most recent time, but they've shown proof of concept. I think Denver is the better team of the two, but at the same time, I think the Kings that would probably be like a version of last year's series, like where the Kings put together a good fight, probably go 6, might go 7, but I think at the end of the day, Denver's the better team. Maybe if the Kings can get some injury luck there, Michael Porter Jr. misses a couple games like we've seen this year.
Gets ice. We've seen him go ice cold before.
Ice cold, feeling himself too much. That would be really, or if Jamal Murray just stays normal, like if Jamal Murray doesn't elevate to playoff Jamal, maybe there's a chance for the Kings, but it's going to be really tough because I think the Kings' best formula in the playoffs is going to be De'Aaron Fox is the best player in this series, and obviously going to be pretty tough to be the best player in a series with Nikola Jokic involved.
Yeah, and Sabonis, I think you have a bit of a fighting chance because at least Sabonis will put up good numbers. against, they don't cancel out, but in a way they do a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
So I think that there would definitely be an opportunity. Everybody would pick the Nuggets, and that's how it goes as we try to keep things positive here, Chris. And as soon as I start thinking about playoffs, the first place my mind goes, and I got to do it, unfortunately. We try to talk playoffs, and the first thing my mind goes to is the free throws. I cannot think about the playoffs.
Worse. It's somehow
gotten worse.
It's amazing.
I cannot think about the playoffs and not just have free throws pop into my mind because it's so important.
It's really important.
Every point is so important. You're going up against a Denver Nuggets team. Every point is so ridiculously important. So it's just, I cannot do it.
The Kings are shooting 72.7% from the free throw line nowadays. The Toronto Raptors are in 29th, and they shoot 74.8%. So they're more than 2 percentile points lower than the 29th place. That's just fantastic.
It's actually impressive.
It is. No, it's getting there. It's really getting there.
To be the 6th seed and to shoot this poorly is impressive.
Yes.
They beat the T-Wolves in Minnesota, and they shot 54% from free throw.
And you know what? I think at this point, the Max Kellerman laser beam question, who you take into the line,
man.
We're just fried. We're done. That's what the case is. He's missed 2.
He's missed a
Malik
couple.
missed 2.
Yeah.
We're just screwed. We don't stand a chance. The aliens win. It's over. I don't know what else to say except for it's been a good ride. There's no chance that these guys can hit a free throw if everything depends on it. So You're right. That is a very, very scary number. And I've been saying it all year. I think that at some point it's going to cost them. And it already has cost them games. I'm looking at that Milwaukee Dame buzzer beater. But in a playoff series, it's probably going to lose you a game. Hopefully it doesn't lose you 2. But it's gonna play a factor in some sort. There's no way you go from 72% to, actually we're just going to be 80% in the free throws or in the playoffs.
Can we get an update on that board? What are we doing with that free throw board? Because it ain't working. It is not working.
I think it's too much pressure now.
When we get the Kings roundtable here this week, I need an update on the board.
That's right.
What is on the board? Who is on the board? What is the point of the board when you still are not making your free throws? When we return, continuing to break down the pocket watching that happened over the weekend, we also discuss the Warriors getting their doors blown off and LeBron James getting to 40K. Big deal, small deal, or no deal? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg, and the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Monday forecast includes mostly cloudy skies, limited sunshine today, and there might be a brief or stray shower this afternoon. Expect daytime highs in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia during their spring event and save big on your favorite models. You can even buy with 0 down on approval of credit. Shop your trusted Kia dealership for over 25 years and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support could be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
This is Sactown Sports.
A little bit of help is what the Kings got this weekend. They also helped themselves by setting the tone with that W, because everybody from the 4 seed down, everybody is pocket watching each other, and the Kings got some help in some spots and did not get help in other spots. Let's take a look at what happened over the weekend. Chris, you had the Nuggets beating the Lakers. You had the Rockets beating the Suns. That was on Saturday. That was a great day for the Kings. And then yesterday, the Celtics beat the Warriors. I know the Warriors are trying to make a run, so thank you to the Celtics for taking care of that. The Clippers beat the T-Wolves. If you want that white whale of the 4 seed, which is still possible, right? You're in the 6 seed right now. And the Pelicans, honestly, the Pelicans, from what I've seen, Chris, the Pelicans have been playing some of the best ball out of these teams. And even with CJ out, they beat the no offense Knicks last week. And they look good right now, as crazy as it sounds when we looked at the teams that we were thinking to fall off a cliff. Now, the other team that I'm looking at is the Phoenix Suns. I mean, you have Devin Booker go down with an ankle, and they lost on Saturday, and then they lost yesterday to the Thunder. So they are struggling right now to keep afloat. And if the Kings can get a win tonight and keep that pressure on them, that's good stuff. Today, as far as who's on tap, the Thunder are at the Lakers. But again, it's a pretty quiet night as far as the teams. You have the Clippers at Bucks. That's a big one. Clippers at Bucks. We'll see what happens there. But again, the Pelicans, who play tomorrow, they go to Toronto 6-6-6 to take on the Raptors. The Pelicans right now look like the team that's going to hold serve.
I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see it. I think that they're going to fall off at some point. I'm
waiting.
I just don't think that they have the team orchestration to keep it going for the rest of the season. I think something's going to fall. I think the second they lose CJ or Brandon Ingram for an extended period, or Zion even for an extended period of time, I think that thing crumbles. I think it's going to crumble fast. I think the Suns too. I mean, they just don't seem to be able to put it together. They have so many opportunities. I thought that Houston game was a huge one for them on Saturday. They squandered that one away. They play Denver tomorrow. That's going to be tough for them. They have the toughest strength of schedule remaining, so it's tough to see Phoenix getting it together. And Dallas, I mean, the more and more I watch them, the more I'm just like, it's actually kind of crazy that the Kings are in the same tier as them, because it's Luka and Kyrie, and that's it. Yeah. That's all they got. And everybody else besides them is just, can Tim Hardaway have a 20-point game? Can Josh Green have a couple threes in the game? It's
they
really
got
crazy.
PJ Washington.
They got PJ. They got Daniel Gafford as well. Those have been good additions. But I mean, for the most part, they're just not scary. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think the Kings actually have the best team of all of them. However, I think the Kings' performances have just let them down. So realistically, I do think the Kings have the best shot of staying up in the out of the play-in. But, you know, I guess the Pelicans are technically playing. They're definitely playing the best basketball of everyone, like you said. I don't know if it's too early. So here I am again, finding myself believing in the Kings more than everybody else around them. But you know, it's going to be a bloodbath down the stretch, and the Kings still have another game against the Pelicans late in April. I just think that this thing, the further and further we get, we're probably going to see some form of separation in the next couple weeks here, or at least in this month. We know the Kings have a really, really easy month. Hopefully they can, get 2 to 3 games ahead of the rest of this pack, because it would be huge for them with that tough April stretch.
And part of the reason that the Kings feel different, right? And we don't want to buy into it. We said we weren't going to do this. Part of the reason you would want to believe that they could is because of this player-only meeting that came out, and Trey Lyles was the one who initiated it. This is after that loss and to Denver, and hey, we're going to go out and we're going to have a conversation and get some things off our chest and put it on the table. So here are the Kings kind of talking about the players-only meeting that they had.
I mean, I think if you've ever been a player of any kind of sport, you've been around some guys who, I guess, don't talk openly when there are coaches around. Like, when you were a kid, when you were in high school, when you were in college, you've had guys that, kind of don't want to say anything when coaches are around. And I think that's what's good about players meeting, because nothing has to leave the meeting. Obviously, whenever we're back with coaches, whatever our main point is, we let them know what it is. And at the end of the day, when you're a team, your organization, you have to have, a middle ground. Obviously, there are some things that you want to do that coaches don't want to do, or coaches want to do that you don't want to do, and you have to find that middle ground. And then, everybody talks to each other, communicates. We go out there and we make it work.
Were you one of those kids?
No. I've never been. I don't know if you've ever seen me argue with a coach. I mean, I've never really been that type of person. But if I see something, and I'd let Mike know, I'd let Jordy know, I'd let Luke know. So, rather if it's calling a play, what we need to do defensively, whatever scheme we're running at the time, I let them know whenever I see.
Whose idea was it to have the meeting?
Trey actually initiated it first. And then, I told him I would back him, and guys got in, guys talked, and I think we definitely answered well after that Denver game.
Were you surprised that it was Trey who initiated it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Trey Lyles is not. I know I've heard Trey is a vocal leader on the team, but I didn't really think that he would be the one to ultimately, step up and say, I just think that collectively this would be good for the team. Traditionally it feels like that would be done by a Malik Monk or by a Sabonis or by a Fox. And so for it to really be, one of the Kings bench players, as even though we know Trey is important, it still is one of the Kings bench players. It's pretty surprising that it's him. And I don't want to read too much into it, but I do think that, Fox said, yeah, like I told him I would back him, but I still think Mike Brown at the end of the day would want that to be called by either De'Aaron or Sabonis. But nonetheless, it was called and it was had.
And I hate to nitpick it, and we're not nitpicking it, and maybe it's because De'Aaron's not playing right now. That could be part of it. But the bottom line is that it got done.
Yes.
And they responded from it. And Trey, coming off that contract, maybe feels, hey, this is my home, and I want to be a part of this and step up in these spots. And maybe you do have to read the room. If you look at some of these other championship teams, the list goes on and on for guys that kind of come in certain spots. If the Kings are going to continue to move forward with De'Aaron and just realize he isn't that type of leader, he just leads in a different way, we need to find it in other spots. And I would trust that the Kings and the players in that locker room know that. So I don't know if Mike Brown would say to himself, man, I wish it would be De'Aaron Fox. I just think he's probably elated that it happened in general based on what he's been telling us, the media, and telling everybody, I want player accountability. And here he is right now. Mike Brown's thoughts on the meeting.
The meeting was great. I said this before our game, and I even addressed it in my team dinner. Basically, championship level teams, it comes from within. And, as a coach, you could take them so far and you keep pushing them. But sooner or later, it's kind of like your parents, hey, shut the hell up. It's about, peer pressure, especially on this level. But true, real peer pressure, not to be a bad person or start stuff, but really for the betterment of the group. That's hard for guys to run away from. And if guys can embrace it, not only talking about it, but also receiving it, that's what championship level teams do. It's been to 6 finals and with I think three or four different teams, and every team that I was a part of that did it once as head coach, but every team our team that did that was a championship level team because it came from the group. It wasn't necessarily me as a head coach in Cleveland or Steve as a head coach in Golden State or Pop as head coach in San Antonio. Players took over the team, and the real stuff started to evolve and happen the right way.
He's been saying the same thing all season. And maybe the Kings are starting to get it. Maybe the players are starting to get it. We will see. And if they go out and they lose tonight, they'll still have another opportunity. You want them to stop doing that, but they will. But when you go out and you decide to have a players-only meeting, that tells us, or at least it tells me, we can all look at it different ways. It tells me that you recognize that there is an issue, right? Losing to Denver. And that's the thing. That's what's so interesting, because I think the timing is the most interesting thing, because after losing to the Heat, I think they were all a little shell-shocked. And then to lose De'Aaron, losing after Denver wasn't really surprising to anybody, right? And even though they got their doors blown off, which doesn't look as bad now compared to what happened to the Warriors, even though that wasn't a close game, I think it says something that they decided to have that meeting after Denver, almost as if, hey, let's get ahead of this and not let this thing cycle and grow, because we still have to go to Minnesota, and we can't afford, without De'Aaron, we can't afford to let this thing snowball.
Right.
Like you said, and we continue to highlight this March schedule. This is softer, much softer. The Kings basically got ice cream sandwiched between really hard time that they just got through, March softening up a bit, and then April is tough. You got to go back to the East Coast. You got to go to New York, who will probably have their guys by then. You got to go to Boston. So they still have to do that. So maybe this was, hey, let's get ahead of this before we look up and we've just lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because they put themselves in the situation that they're in now, and you're right. Like, get in front of it so that you don't have the meeting too late when it's like, okay, now we really, really, really have to go on a great run and have to be playing our best basketball. Try and take advantage now. Like we said, like get it. It's okay if a mini collapse, I guess, happens later, as long as you put yourself in a situation where you allow it to not kill you. And I think that's what, to your point, like that's what's so important about this timing, is that it happens before the Chicago game. Maybe they didn't get the result against Minnesota, but it's making sure that they understand, hey, when there's opportunities in front of us, we're a better team than what we showed against Denver. We should be able to at least put up a fight, because even if they didn't get the result against Minnesota on Friday, they still played great. They still showed that, hey, even without De'Aaron Fox, we were able to compete with the best in the league. And so I think you're completely right that the timing of this is absolutely key. And hopefully we look back in a month or 2 months and say, wow, everything really changed after that players only meeting. They went 12-3 after that, and thank God they did, because now we are looking at that April stretch, and they have to go to Boston. I think they have to go to OKC. They've got to go to New York. It's not the biggest deal if you end up losing those games, because you did all the work that you needed to do before. You ate the veggies, and now you get to play around a little bit and have some freedom. So hopefully that's how it goes, and it seems like, at least for now, it's the bad Kings have kind of been pushed down a bit, and hopefully they don't rear their ugly heads around tonight.
Or you get to April and all the other teams around you have continued to hang around you, and you need to get those wins.
Yeah.
And then at least you can say, all right, you're giving yourself a chance. It's all in front of you. Either way, you have to take advantage of March.
Yeah.
You have to control the controllables, what you can control. When we return, we continue the conversation. Coach Mike Brown talks about who his vocal leaders are on the team, and also the Kings moving to the top 10 of the NBA power rankings. What? We also break down Malik Monk's great night, but bizarre game in general. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is Sactown Sports.
He's got the bucket at the buzzer. Harrison Barnes.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Harrison Barnes, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
I'm Craig Ashton of the Injury Law Firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found ya.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations used leather for water skins, armor, and sandals. Hi, this is Franklin Rosa with a word about Nature Wood Home Furnishings. Today, leather is one of nature's most luxurious products. The combination of leather with beautifully designed furniture creates an end product that adds luxury and sophistication to any room. During Nature Wood Home Furnishings leather sale, you'll find their considerable selection of leather is flexible, breathable, natural, and maybe most important, comfortable. Whether you're a relaxed contemporary kind of person or you're more classic leather, Nature Wood Home Furnishings has color choices and styles to fit your home. In fact, I doubt any store can beat Nature Wood's selection. During Nature Wood's leather sale, all leather furniture is on sale for a limited time. Sit, enjoy the comfort of leather at Nature Wood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
For beginning golfers, not getting into bad habits gives you a much better chance of enjoying the game and shooting lower scores. John Howells in Golf Monthly says these mistakes should be avoided. First, know your club distances. Take your yardages not from your best or worst shot, but somewhere in the middle. And no dancing allowed. Swaying in the backswing is a common fault, which forces you to compensate in the downswing. Mastering impact. Trust the loft on the club face and don't try to lift the ball. Club face control. For right-handers, take care to set the perfect grip with 2 V's between thumb and forefinger pointing to your right shoulder. Bunker shots. Many struggle here because they fail to open the club face before hitting the shot. Turn the club before you take your grip. And finally, learn how to read greens and hole more putts. Even on a miss, putts that miss above the hole offer more chance of holding the putt. Now go out and have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
This man, after the 3-minute mark in the third quarter, had 35 points, and the rest of the team had 11. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. They went 0 for 6 from 3. I don't even remember the 11 points. I really don't. It feels like Malik Monk had every point.
I can't remember any of them.
And every point was needed to get that W.
Yes, absolutely. Especially, I mean, down the stretch, it was the Malik Monk show, and as it should have been, but it was a great performance, man. And I can't lie, especially maybe it's because I watched the Timberwolves game yesterday too, but kind of raised some concerns for me for the Timberwolves in their long-term fit. The fact that it seems like down the stretch, if Anthony Edwards, it's Anthony Edwards. I mean, down the stretch, it is Anthony Edwards. Have the ball in your hand, do something. Mm-hmm. And then maybe Karl Anthony Towns can beat somebody off the dribble, but it wasn't that night was not about the Timberwolves, but one of my big conclusions from that game was I don't know how good the Timberwolves are going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I sent out a tweet during the T-Wolves game when Jaden McDaniels was going off, right?
Yes,
he had, what did he have, 3 or 4 threes, something like that?
I don't even know.
And I'll be honest with you, I watch a lot of Kings games. I do not watch as much Minnesota Timberwolves games. So a lot of times when, we'll do prop talk later in the show, a lot of times you can base things on prop talk, right? And where things are set.
Right.
Based on where Jaden McDaniels threes are set for prop talk, whatever app you're on, the Kings, what they did made sense. They just happened to get burned that night. Jaden McDaniels is not very much of a 3-point shooter.
He's not. Yeah, he's not a scorer.
And he's not a scorer at all, right? He's 3-and-D. He's trying to get the threes more so going. So you have Anthony Edwards. I don't really know and I think that I don't think there's a power dynamic issue, but Karl Anthony Towns later in the game feels like when things get a little bit tighter, he's not really sure where he fits because it's the Anthony Edwards show. What do you need me to do? Right. So to your point, and that's exactly what Dane Moore said. He said offensively, things can get a little clunky. Right. They could suffer the same fate as other teams that look really good. The Celtics just look different. But as far as teams that look a certain way in the regular season, but how does it translate? Right. Especially you get Rudy Gobert, who was on his way to another depoy, most likely, but you get him out there, you pull him out the same way we wanted to see Trey Lyles do. It didn't really end up happening on Friday, but you neutralize Rudy Gobert offensively. He can't do much. Their team clamps, but if they don't have anything going offensively,
their team clank too.
They are team clank. That's an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget the one time Minnesota beat the Kings this year, Karl Anthony Towns didn't play.
And you were on that. You were on that early.
And you know what? I will give credit to Dane Moore, who did put me on to that thought process, because he was on, I think there was some holiday and he was on with Frankie and Brendan on one of the fill-in shows. And he said pretty much, in a weird way, it changes how Minnesota plays. Like it makes it so it isn't awkward at the end of games where Cat is in the way sometimes, but also like you have to feed. He's your second best player, so you have to feed him. Like it's a lot more free flowing. And I did notice the Kings, while they weren't able to get Gobert out in the pick and pop, they put Karl Anthony Towns in a lot of actions defensively and made him run. And that's exactly what you have to do. Like, for everybody who says, what's Mike Brown doing? Like, there's a point for Mike Brown there, because he completely was like, part of the downfall of running two bigs is that you have two massive humans out there, and they can't move with a guy like Harrison Barnes. This is where Harrison Barnes, being more of a 3 than a 4, maybe more of a modern day 4, but your classic typical 3 helps to play at the 4, because that's just a huge mismatch. You get HB running around a lot, you get Cat running around a lot, and I think it really made Minnesota make some decisions. And I think that could be a way in which you look at this matchup moving forward. Maybe the Kings do have a good shot against Minnesota. I know Dane Moore pretty much said, it was actually Jade McDaniels himself who said, I'm not really concerned about this Kings team. But
Dane liked our chance.
Yes, he did like
Dane liked the Kings' chances.
That's right. So, yeah, I mean, you could see how the Kings could maybe give the Timberwolves some problems. And that was without De'Aaron Fox. Let's not forget.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, if you're going to say no Anthony Edwards in the second half.
Sure.
Karl Anthony Towns fouled out. Okay, you want to get these dudes in action. Karl Anthony Towns fouled out. Rudy Gobert should have fouled out. Yeah. Don't get me started on that. That was ridiculous. And people were saying, I saw a lot of Timberwolves people saying, oh my gosh, how is Sabonis going to be okay after what Conley did to him? And then they stopped the video. The problem was, don't be mad at the Kings, be mad at the refs. Yeah. And you should be happy with the refs, because it was supposed to be on Gobert. And he would have been out the game, and I believe he would have been out the game for overtime.
Yep, 100%.
So I don't know what you're complaining about. Yep. Just because you guys are starting to slide a little bit.
A lot of bows, too, just in general.
So you have Gobert with 5, and your boy, Jaden McDaniels, had 5. So they were flirting with disaster the whole time. Karl Anthony Towns can get into foul trouble. That is one thing that he will do. So maybe there's a recipe, but here I go now. If you're willing to say that, is it due to the 3-point shooting, right? They shot 37% from 3, so they did not light it up. Okay, the Kings didn't. Because I'm looking here and saying, I don't know if it's a King-specific thing, or if the Timberwolves are just going to have issues. Because now this is the same reason that the Lakers have hope, that the Warriors have hope against teams like this, that you can see some of the cracks. So do you think it's a King-specific thing to how they can match up with the T-Wolves, or is there just an issue with the T-Wolves that might come up during the playoffs?
I hear what you're saying. I think that it might be what you just laid out. Because if you watched yesterday, I mean, granted it was Kawhi Leonard, but Kawhi did whatever he wanted with the Timberwolves, and a lot of it was pretty much exactly what I was explaining with HB, but they did it with Kawhi. So maybe you could argue the book is out on Minnesota. They have kind of, they had a pretty firm lead early in the season at that 1 seed. They've now, as you mentioned earlier in the show, they've completely lost it. They're now the 2 seed. So, I think you could argue that maybe teams are starting to figure out what makes Minnesota tick a bit. And, we'll see. I think they still present a lot of problems, but I think they're a bit more flawed than what their record might have shown at one point.
Yeah, and as teams start to pick it up a little bit, like we said, or continue to say, it's basically playoff time right now. It's definitely money time. So teams are not sleeping on anybody, and everyone's trying to put their best foot forward to end the season on a good note, whether you're going to make the playoffs or not, right? So it doesn't matter who you're up against. When we return, we will hear from Coach Mike Brown on who he thinks his vocal leaders are. We also break down the curious case of the Kings that can beat good teams, can beat great teams, but seem to not show up against the teams that they're better than. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football, Sactown Sports.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients meet us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
One ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at 2hugeshows.com.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Get huge savings on our best selection of new Hondas during our Honda President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Vocal leadership. You got a bench mob now, thanks to Mason Jones. Got a bench mob going. I saw a little bit of him in Stockton, Chris, Mason Jones. He was in Stockton.
You went down to Stockton?
No, it was on TV, actually.
Oh, yes, I actually did see that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game, but
I checked out some of the games. So you have Mason Jones, who is the captain of the bench mob, and now you're having players-only meetings, things like that. So the Kings are really rounding into form here. Quickly, just a shout-out to the Kings. I saw some of the footage last night from the Kings and the Kaiser Permanente annual pediatric prom. So they were out there. So good on them for being a part of the community. And it looked like they had a really good time out there. Saw some clips of De'Aaron and Keegan hanging out. So building that cohesion, also doing some great things for some kids that are really deserving of that. But, the vocal leadership thing, I can say, Chris, we've known each other for a couple months.
Yes.
Longer than a couple months now. I think you can tell that the whole vocal leadership thing was never a problem on any team I was on. it was probably a problem of me talking too much, right? So there are certain teams that you have a guy or a gal on the team that you know they're going to take care of that for you. I haven't really been in the LSU huddles, but it seems like Angel Reese is going to take care of that for you. Now, there's a difference between, and this goes for me too, not just Angel, the leadership thing versus talking, I guess, is where you wonder about those things. It's the Draymond versus Steph Curry, all of those things. But there does seem to be a need for somebody to be vocal at certain times. And the Kings, it feels like they've lacked it. We know that Sabonis shows emotion on the court. We know that De'Aaron shows emotion on the court, but both of those guys are a little bit more soft-spoken off of the court. So for Trey Lyles to be the guy who maybe has inserted himself into that role, maybe I just need to do this if nobody else is going to do this. I'm trying to go to the promised land.
It's my situation too, right?
Right. Is he the line of, hey, this guy can do this even though he's not the quote-unquote star or one of the best players on your team?
I would actually think he's probably below the line. No disrespect to Trey, but again, I would think that it would probably need to come from your top three, and if not your top three, like somebody who's just clearly a vocal presence. And Trey is just a bit unassuming, but that's always kind of been Trey as well. Is like he surprises you with how boisterous he is. Like a couple of years ago, it's always the reference is Trey Lyles was the guy who got in the the skirmish, I guess, the tussle with Brook Lopez and Giannis. Like, everybody was knowing that this team kind of needed to puff their chest out a bit, and no one was willing to do it. Trey was the one who ended up doing it. And I think, that moment kind of showed that. And again, I don't mean it disrespectfully, but again, it's just typically if somebody's going to have a really powerful voice, like calling a players only meeting, you would think that it's just going to be one of the primary faces of the team. And I don't think many people, if anybody, really thinks of Trey in that manner, but clearly maybe we should.
Let's hear from, I got thoughts on what you just said, but let's hear from Mike Brown and what he had to say as far as the vocal leadership on the team.
JaVale has been probably the biggest voice, obviously Trey has stepped up, Malik has stepped up, and then, other guys are more quiet leaders, but you do need, you do need guys to step up vocally, as well as, with your play too.
To me, that does not sound good.
I was just about to say, that's
like he's wanting
the
more.
First word that comes out of his mouth is JaVale. Like, that's bad.
Not a single starter was mentioned there. Like he named JaVale McGee, Malik Monk, and Trey Lyles. And it's great that those guys bring that off the bench. Like, it's great that you have guys that are 6, 7, and 8 who also feel like, just in terms of starting and coming off the bench, that feel like they have a good say, a good impact, a good input with the team. But at the same time, that starting lineup's out there quite a bit. None of those guys are vocal. Like HB, even within that group, isn't somebody who says, hey, I'm the most veteran guy here. I've been with this organization a good amount of time. Like, just the fact that none of that starting five is in there, it's not great to me. That's definitely not ideal to me.
No, it can't be. And you have De'Aaron, who we know is more of a soft-spoken guy. You have Keegan, who we know is more of a soft-spoken guy.
Say that again.
And you have Harris Barnes, who is, we know, kind of a soft-spoken guy. And Kevin Huerter, who is more of a soft-spoken guy. And those two dudes I'll give a pass to because they've been on the trade block. Kevin's been benched.
Sure.
Right. I will give more of my number one pass goes to Kevin Huerter.
Yeah.
My second pass goes to Keegan Murray.
Yep.
My third pass probably goes to Harrison Barnes.
Yep.
And my fourth, once he gets to Harrison, Harrison, Sabonis, Fox, is there no one?
Right.
Is there no one? Sabonis is the most surprising to me because he is very loud on the court.
On the court, right.
So the fact that it doesn't translate is interesting. De'Aaron, you know, he signed to Steph. That's kind of the same thing. Even Steph had. Now, this is Steph much later in his career, had to convert the Game 7 thing. So maybe we're just waiting for something that will happen organically, and it's just not going to be it this season. I'm willing to say that you become a star, you have to be a leader to some level. It's part of the gig.
Yes,
it's part of the gig. So if that's not going to be you, then eventually they will look for somebody, and that's not that's anybody.
Yes, that's
it comes with it.
Yep.
It comes with it. Who is the best star or biggest star that didn't really seem to have any leadership skills that won a championship? The number one name that will be said is Kevin Durant. And I don't think
Kawhi.
Tim Duncan.
Kawhi is a good one.
I would think Tim Duncan was a great leader.
Yeah. Kawhi is a good one though.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't count
because
KD
even now
that was
Kawhi's not a leader. Like Kawhi doesn't claim. Like I don't think that. I'm sure Ty Lue might just say it because it's so out there that it's like, oh no, you wouldn't think it. But Kawhi actually, you know, he's tight with a lot of the guys. Maybe not vocal, but
that's a good one.
People watch him. But
well, what about Jokic then?
They love Jokic.
They
love him.
I think it's a lot of behind the scenes.
They follow.
But that's a good point though, because De'Aaron, if we don't think Jokic talks either, there's just a level. You either have to be so dope that it doesn't matter, or you have to do both, and eventually it figures out. Jokic is in that category. De'Aaron is not that good yet.
Who else is in that? Giannis?
Giannis talks now,
probably,
but yes.
Giannis, half the things that come out of his mouth are jokes.
Like Embiid. Embiid, to me, is not really a leader.
No, because he trashed Ben Simmons.
Yeah, and they haven't won anything.
Right.
Yeah, no.
But he doesn't lead by example.
Right, he doesn't. Teams that have won,
Tatum?
Your leader has to have some. He hasn't won.
No, he hasn't won, but he's kind of in that. He's so good, it doesn't matter.
No, he's not, because he's the one that during the finals said, "I never said I was a superstar." That's his problem. He probably would have a ring if he had more of it in him. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they say Jaylen Brown's the leader too.
Yeah,
in vocally,
you need somebody.
Al Horford too.
Yeah.
And I also wonder with this, I mean, I'm not trying to turn this, I hope we're not trying to turn this positive thing that is this player's only into like a pointing at you know, you actually should have. But at the same time, I do wonder how much of Trey eventually being the one is kind of what you were saying too, where it's almost like a trickle down of how many people did Trey have to see not speak up before he was like, okay, I'm going to have to do this because I think that we're much past a point where this needs to be had. Like Trey, and I don't know, again, I don't know how big of a presence it is or Trey is, but I would think that if I'm a person in Trey Lyles' position, which I'm definitely not, but just putting myself in his shoes, I would look to say De'Aaron's probably going to call one. Sabonis will probably call one. Even Malik will probably call one first. And if it got to the point where Trey is like, I think we need a players only meeting, and if no one else is going to call it, I guess it's going to be on me to call it. I don't know if that's a good sign for this team long term. But then again, who knows? Maybe next year this thing doesn't happen, or maybe next year De'Aaron is the one who calls it. But I also wonder if they're calling it now. We talked about how good of timing is it. How long has Trey probably wanted to call a team only or players only meeting?
Yeah, and timing is important. And the situation is important. Not having De'Aaron, I think it was just Trey personally, because not having De'Aaron and you lose in Denver and then you have that conversation after was surprising to me because you didn't have De'Aaron. That I think it's more of Trey feeling this thing could go off the rails, and I feel like we need to have a conversation. Are you guys down? So the question is, if they lost to the T, let's say they have no meeting, they lose to the T-Wolves, at what point would they have had a conversation? And I'm trying to remember if we've heard about, did they have something else earlier this season, some type of talk? Why do I feel like they did? I might be confusing them with another team, but I feel like there was something.
But there definitely might have been. I don't think anything to this level, definitely, but I don't think so, because Mike's been talking about wanting player accountability for a while. So yeah. So I don't feel that they ever would have called it, because my point is, this wasn't one of the worst runs that the Kings have been on. They've done much worse, and nothing has been called. Right.
That's why I don't think that anybody was planning on calling anything. And Trey just felt personally, or to your point, we've gotten to the point now where I feel like this is necessary. If these dudes don't, then Foxy can tell me no, but I think that it could be beneficial.
Yeah.
And we'll see how beneficial it is. They go out and they lose tonight. I don't think it was very beneficial.
Right. No, and also, I mean, how much of De'Aaron's leadership is, and who knows how much the exact situation went or how the exact situation went, but maybe De'Aaron's leadership is Trey going to De'Aaron to say, I'm going to do this. Is like De'Aaron's the one who, again, kind of says, okay, well, if De'Aaron says we're having a players only meeting, then I guess we're going to have one. So maybe that's a sign that actually maybe we're reading too much into what is actually said and maybe not looking at the specifics of the situation. Maybe De'Aaron really is the leader in the locker room, and it isn't vocal, but it is an unspoken thing of, hey, we look at this guy just like how we explained Jokic. It might not be, the way he vocalizes things, but it could just be this dude is so dope. If he thinks something's wrong, who are we to tell him no and we shouldn't listen and fall in line? So it'll be interesting to just kind of see how all of this pans out, and if truly we do start to see some leadership on the floor, because Mike Brown did talk about in his press conference yesterday how he noticed like there was a couple times where the bench called somebody out who was playing, and he just hadn't seen that all year. So just things like that. And I think we saw Sabonis talking with Keegan a couple different times over the weekend, or on Friday. So just like little things like that. I'm curious how all of the team reacts to how the meeting went.
916-339-1140. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Do you care who called the players only meeting, and do you think it will actually help? Will the Kings take care of business tonight in Sacramento as they take on the Chicago Bulls? When we return, got some numbers for you. If there's one thing the Kings have been able to do consistently this season, it's beat really good teams. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Nothing beats driving cross-country in our RV.
This is so much fun, Dad. I don't even need to look at my phone.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. Jinx!
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure that RV is always ready to hit the road. Who knows, your teenager might actually put down her phone for 5 minutes. It could happen. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Now, during Staples Print Pig Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Pig Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 4/6. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Niners go out and get their guy who was already in the building. Nick Sorensen gets promoted to defensive coordinator. Brandon Staley is now the assistant head coach. Also in the football world, Jason Kelce, longtime center for the Philadelphia Eagles, has retired. Had his ceremony or his press conference. Travis Kelce was in there. Tears were shed. Jason Kelce has officially retired. So that's another blow for the Eagles. Is that essentially the Eagles' Trent Williams? Pretty much.
Yeah, except he's been there longer. So it's almost like in a way it's Kittle.
He's won a Super Bowl too.
He's won a Super Bowl.
with Nick Foles
right
against Tom Brady.
It's probably more their Kittle than Trent. But, I mean, in terms of importance to the O-line, yes, it's Trent. Yes.
Yeah.
But as a figure, it's more, it's
So
Kittle.
Eagles will have to find a way to replace him. I would assume that they had some inclination. It's been the last couple of years.
Right.
He's thought about it. And the Eagles will continue to rebuild and try to retool because the Niners, they're doing their thing as well. We will have more Niners talk later in the show. Continuing with the Kings talk. The Kings are 2-1 against the number 1 seed in the West. They are 2-1 against the number 2 seed in the West. They are 3-1 against the number 3 seed in the West. And after that, they are 1-2 against the Clippers. They are 8-5 against the top 4 seeds, which 5 losses isn't nothing, but against those teams, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, that's against the best teams in the NBA, and any team would be grateful just to go 500. So the fact that the Kings are a couple games over 500, and I think that's a great sign. I mean, those are the teams that right now the Kings are slated to play in the playoffs. And so if you have a winning record against the teams that you're most likely to play, I think that's definitely a positive. I mean, we would probably be freaking out if the Kings were 1-8 or whatever against, I guess that would be 1-12 against those opponents. So I think the fact that they have a winning record tells me that at the very least, when they say we make them when it counts, or, hey, this isn't a problem against the best teams in the NBA. It's more so a lack of focus against teams like the Blazers and the Spurs and the Pistons and the Hornets. And let's not throw that on the list, hopefully. So hopefully it's just a good sign that, when this team is locked in, when they're truly playing their 100% best effort, they can actually beat anybody in the West at least.
Yeah, right now the Bulls are the 9 seed.
Yeah.
They are 2 games ahead of the Hawks. So, they're going to have some postseason basketball as it stands right now. They're 28-32, but ultimately we know what it is with the Bulls. They are stuck in purgatory, if you will, not really knowing what they can and can't do, or can and can't be. The question is, when it comes to the Kings, is it simply because of the players that have been missing that other teams aren't threatened by the Kings? Or is it because of watching the Kings trick off games to other teams? We have the sound here from Jaden McDaniels, Chris's former favorite player, who had some things to say. And Jake Shapiro, our guy from DenverSports.com, he said he wasn't really worried about the Kings either. Right now, look, the one time they played the Kings fully loaded, they beat the brakes off the Kings, but no De'Aaron, and they were basically due. Okay, but now you have Denver saying that. Now you have the T-Wolves saying that. And here is Jaden McDaniels talking about how he is not worried about the Kings.
Like that for you guys?
Nah, I really don't worry about them. Like, when they come here, like, I feel pretty confident we could beat them 4 times in a row if we had to play them. So we just throw this one to the side, really.
So feeling confident that you can beat a team 4 teams, fine. You're supposed to.
Yep.
It's to throw this one to the side.
He said 4 in a row. He didn't say beat them 4 times.
That's also true.
4 times in a row.
That's
disrespectful.
Hey, I don't know if I caught the in a row part.
That's insane.
I don't know if he meant it like that.
I don't know how else.
You want to hear it again?
I don't know how else in a row could be.
So basically you're saying it sounds like he thinks that they'd sweep the Kings.
That's what he said. I'm saying what he said. Nate
play it again.
Yeah, ready. It's pretty. Yeah, it caught me off guard too.
Like, I really don't worry about them. Like, when they come here, like, I feel pretty confident we could beat them 4 times in a row if we had to play them. So
he stops and he thinks about
he's talking about a sweep.
He also does not in the video look confident at all. He's got head down, no eye contact.
It's been a long game.
It's weird, I guess, with cameras in your face, but still.
That's a wild thing to say after you lose to a team that doesn't have their best player and you have a career night.
Yeah.
you've literally played the best that you've ever played in your life, and it wasn't good enough to beat this team. And yet you just think, oh yeah, they've also beaten you 3 times this season.
Well, they're going to bench Cat when they play in the playoffs. So it's a lock.
Yeah.
4 in a row. Count it.
4 in a row.
That's
Lock it up.
Insane.
Yeah, 4 in a row. Okay,
yeah, Jaden has lost all respect.
This is a sad day for Chris.
It is. R.I.P.
This is one of Chris's guys.
I was just starting to get close to him. He had the career high against the Kings. I was like, oh man, I'm looking like a genius these days.
And then he
had to go and say that. Now it's all ruined, and I hope Keegan Murray destroys him every single time that he sees him, and I hope he dunks all over him and gives him like the John Cena "you can't see me." So. It's on site next time the Kings are playing Jaden McDaniels. I hope they got something for him, because I'm sure that's the type of thing where just shut up. Like, you don't, that is literally bulletin board material. That's the kind of thing that if you're a coach, you're like, dude, just don't say that. Like, it's fine if you think it, but don't tell the media that.
You know what though? And I don't know how to say this. Maybe it's just because of who their personality is. And maybe I'm not giving the Kings enough credit, but they're just such a chill team to me.
Oh, they're like,
right.
He's going to think what
if there is a team, and I mean this as respectfully as possible, if there is a team to say that against, it's probably the Kings. The Kings aren't going to.
They've taken down all bulletin boards in their locker room. They're like, you know what? It's fine. We're just going to focus on us.
I don't see the Kings sitting there. We keep receipts and maybe bringing it back, and we see you 530 on the text line. Team has been asking for a leader. Now that we apparently have one, we don't want him because he's not a starter. You don't have to be a starter to be a leader. You just got to lead.
No, we don't have a problem.
Maybe one of the starters will jump in one day too. Maybe Trey Lyles is the guy to say, guys, we don't have them again for the rest of the season, but let's say it comes back around. Maybe Trey Lyles is the guy to say, guys, this should upset us. Keegan, this should upset you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You should be mad about this.
I would think it's Malik. Malik feels like the dude who would keep receipts.
And that's also true. Yeah. So maybe it's leader by committee, right? Maybe Trey Lyles is – you need a whole cabinet of folks to get this done. You have Mason Jones, president of the bench
HB
mob.
Is secretary of whatever. It doesn't matter. He's
secretary of suits. He'll take care of that. You have Trey Lyles, who calls a meeting and keeps everybody. He's also the enforcer. Yep. De'Aaron is just, the best player. Yeah. You have Sabonis. How does Sabonis fit in here?
He's got to be like he's the bailiff. For sure. He's kicking people out, but he's also making sure things are in order.
Whenever the things aren't going well for the Kings, I always see Sabonis dapping people.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He's gonna keep big energy. Hey, we'll get back there, even if he knows we ain't getting back there. He says, hey, we can get back there. So maybe this is just a different type of team. Not even different to that many other teams, but there are just more avenues of leadership that the Kings need than certain other teams. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay as long as it feels like they are leading in some capacity and moving in the right direction. More Kings talk when we return. Also, Niners get their guy. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The next election is March 5th. Vote centers open February 24th. Remember to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 762-8019.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door. 1 ticket, 2 shows. The Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at 2hugeshows.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This segment is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville. Check them out at KiaVacaville.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Monday forecast includes mostly cloudy skies, limited sunshine today, and there might be a brief or stray shower this afternoon. Expect daytime highs in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com. Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Brandon Deitzman on the Sac Chat. Everybody ready for some bull riding tonight, which gives me an opportunity to ask the question, fair or foul. And I'm not going to say why I'm asking this question. If this person
you
wants
can
to
say why. Go ahead, say why.
Fair or foul, men doing the bull riding machine. Fair foul. Fair foul. You see a guy riding a bull.
I wasn't the only guy doing that. Okay,
you see a guy riding a bull,
and I didn't even pay for it. I didn't like it.
I didn't
Does that
pay
help?
for it. I didn't pay for it.
It sucked.
Nate was in Chico, and he was on the bull riding machine. Fair or foul? You see Nate riding a bull? Because I'm going foul.
I would say when in Rome, for sure.
I was out of town.
A Chico bar is probably the place to do it if
Nobody
anywhere.
wants to see that.
Upstairs, mechanical bull.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Nate, no one.
Dude.
That ride is not meant for you.
I didn't. Yeah, okay.
Kids can.
Yeah.
Kid would not want to do that. My friend's whole inner side of his thigh was bruised.
I
It was
did
awful.
when I was 13 or whatever. Right?
Dude,
Much different situation.
Listen,
it's not
I can't
bar.
get into the details about it on air.
Right.
About what was going on to fuel that.
Yes.
But listen, dude.
I'm just saying it.
It's foul, sure, but you can't be mad at me.
That's fine.
I was in the moment.
Brandon put it on the Sac Chat, and I thought, hey.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, and
You
I
did
was
it on
kind of
purpose.
hoping it would go under the radar.
No, it's never going
I think
to.
the fact that you got hurt
And you
makes it a
injured
little more
yourself.
fair.
Well, to be fair,
it would be more foul if you didn't get hurt. It sounds like a lot cooler and a lot tougher.
No, because what happened is
they were whipping that thing.
I have a weak wrist, and I have a ganglion cyst on my wrist, and the dude tied my hand down, and I was like, "This doesn't feel good already. This sucks."
Tied your hand down.
They
to like strap you down to the fake bowl.
What is this?
Dude,
this
it was
definitely
intense.
not sanctioned.
No.
This is not. No.
Wow. Fair foul. Keep them coming. 916-339-1140. We get back into the Kings conversation as they hopefully do some bull riding tonight,
that's
like
right.
Nate and Chico. And TC wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Yes, sir. Stiles, Watkins. What's going on, man? Top of the morning.
And joining this morning, man. What you got for us?
Hey, look, check it out. So, I mean, I'm all for it, though, with Trey Lyles. Honestly, in a way, so it's two sides to that situation, and I love both of them. You will want your starters, right, to be like, somebody be like, hey, let's hope this player meeting, but it shows that much more greediness, bro, when somebody off the bench can do that, like a Trey Lyles, to just call a meeting and be like, this is the same dude that choked out Brick Lopez. Like, man, watch out. I like Trey Lyles, man. He's a silent killer, man. I like him calling that meeting and saying, hey, look, check it out, bro. We got to get our things together. That makes everybody on the team, the starters, the coaches, to everybody, that raise an eyebrow in a good way to say, man, you know what? We do got to get our stuff together, man. Let's make it happen. So, hey, I like that by Trey Lyles, man. Hey, the team needed it. We ain't going to, hey, mark my words on this day. We're not about to look back, fellas. I promise you.
Wow. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, as always, TC. Yeah, from the 916, our guy here on the text line. Hey, Johnny K.
Hey.
1 game down, 6 more to go.
That's right. Come on, Johnny. That's right.
That's right. He said 7 in a row.
Yes.
He said 7 in a row. And getting back to what TC had to say, I like what Trey Lyles did.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not about, for me, it's not about Trey Lyles being the guy to initiate it. I'm the same type of person. I will do all of that. The other side of it is, will it always have to be somebody like Trey Lyles?
Right, exactly.
For all intents and purposes, we could assume that De'Aaron Fox is probably going to be on this team longer than Trey Lyles, and then same with Sabonis. You never know, but we could assume that these are cornerstone pieces.
Yes.
So, is it going to be a rotating door?
Right.
What is it going to be there? As far as this season's concerned, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Get in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Do what you got to do.
Yep.
But I think, Chris, you are more so looking forward to say, when can we expect, or can we ever expect this to come from one of your foundational pieces?
Because to add on to what you just said there, and you put it perfectly, but the problem is with it being Trey, and you're right, like Trey, this has it's all positive that Trey Lyles did this, felt the need to do it, felt the power to do it, and then did it. But there's going to be a crucial point in the season, in the playoffs, where Trey Lyles is not on the floor.
Right.
And they're going to need a leader on the floor, because what a leader really does, what a true on the floor leader does, is bring a sense of calm, bring a sense of, I know things are going terribly right now. I know things are tense right now, but we have him out here, and with him out here, it just makes me feel like everything's going to be okay. He's going to make the right decision. It's not going to be on me. It's going to be on him. He knows that. He's comfortable with it, and he's going to run with it. If Trey Lyles is on the bench in the last 3 minutes of a playoff game, a game 7, his leadership is going to be no different than Mike Brown yelling from the sideline. You need somebody on the floor to look around and say, and whether it's De'Aaron, whether it's Malik, whether it's Sabonis, but somebody who's going to be on the floor in those moments to say, guys, breathe, calm. I got this. I got us. We just do what we do. Trust me, and we'll be fine. That's the thing that this team needs from someone who's going to be on the floor. And Trey might be on the floor 1 of every 3 games in those situations, but it'd be better if it's somebody who's out there every single time that just brings down your nerves and makes you feel like this game's going to be okay because he's out here with us.
So I think you're talking about 2 different things, though. I think that what Trey did, I think you're just saying it doesn't really matter what Trey did or not. You could have some teams have a leader that breaks down everything. We talked about the cabinet of leadership here with the Kings. The trade thing is separate. You're saying that doesn't make you feel any better about an on-the-court leader. From Dwayne Baker, Sabonis is that guy. So is Monk. They have those kinds of guys. I've seen it from Sabonis. I don't think Monk is that guy, but I don't think it's his job to be that guy. But if it is anybody, it is Sabonis. Will it be enough? I don't know.
I think it needs, and Sabonis, like you said, like there'll be times where nobody believes that they're actually going to come back, and Sabonis will be that rallying presence. But I just feel like I just think De'Aaron at some point needs to. I don't think he has to be the biggest leader on the team, but yeah, what I'm saying is he essentially does need to be just a guy that people, I think they respect him, but I think there needs to be like a level of just greatness that's expected from him. And I think that they do expect it, but it's a different kind of leadership, I guess, is kind of what you're saying that I'm saying, is that what Trey is doing is one thing, but what I'm asking for is almost a different subset of leadership that I just don't know if I just don't think that talking about a players only meeting necessarily relates to that kind of leadership, which I didn't really think about.
Yeah, and I don't think this is unique to De'Aaron. I'm going to name off some guys, and I think that they all have questions.
Sure.
I think they're in different situations, but they all have questions. When you say what you just said, I will also bring up Shai Gilgeous.
Right.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, we know he's a stud. We know he can score the basketball, pass the basketball, do anything he wants with the basketball. Right. I have no clue what kind of leader he is. Yeah. We'll see here pretty soon.
Right.
Another guy I would put into that category who's been in the league longer is Devin Booker.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do with Devin Booker.
Yeah.
And and maybe that's why I'm not as high on Devin Booker as other people.
Right.
Because I like my guy to also be a leader.
Yeah.
I like him to have that thing.
Yep.
And Devin Booker doesn't seem to have that. That's
That's fair.
ballers.
Yep.
And I think that Luka he has no choice.
Yeah.
But I think Luka is struggling with the leadership part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like anything else. When you're born, you can jump so high. When you're born, you look like this, you look like that. Some people are natural born leaders, and some have to grow into it. How much you're able to grow into it, that's what we're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these guys who are around the same age, we're going to see who's able to do it and who's not as this thing continues to unfold. Trae Young, another guy, right? All these guys.
Yeah.
You guys are all good at basketball.
Yeah.
So what is going to differentiate you when you're all now battling for a championship? Because all you guys are really good, right? Some are better than others, whatever you want to call it.
You can even throw Tatum in that group too.
Tatum is in that group too. Yeah. And because you had two generational dudes who are on their way out.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, physical specimen, can do everything with the basketball. Steph Curry, best shooter ever. Their leadership, they were on different timelines because their talents were so otherworldly. Now you have this next group of guys who maybe it's either got to be, just like I said earlier in the show, it's either got to be your talent that makes it so that it doesn't matter. And Giannis, Giannis and Luka, those probably are the only two that fit into that category.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you're probably going to have to either bring something else or you're going to have to be on a team where someone else is bringing it, a la KD and having Steph and Draymond on that team. And he hasn't won anything since then.
Right. And I think the big thing is what you said, the first couple things you said was age. Like, to me, I think that a lot of this is a lot of the guys you listed, Luka, Booker, Fox, Shea, all those guys, they're all like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum. Like, this is where basketball and real life kind of merge. These guys are kind of like finding themselves as people too. And I think these are like the formative years for, how confident they're going to be in their actual lives and how they fall into leadership in their households and things like that. And I think those kind of things, of course, just take time to develop and take time to get comfortable. Maybe we're just asking too much too soon of De'Aaron, who is still 25 years old, and we're asking him to lead a locker room of dudes that are from 22 to JaVale is like 37. And I think that is a pretty big ask for somebody who still is himself trying to figure out a lot of things.
Yeah, and I would put Halliburton there too.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I know Halliburton likes to see Drake at his parties during All-Star games and wear outfits, but I don't know if Halliburton is a leader yet. Right. Alex makes a good point on the Sack Chat that Luka is a little bit ahead of these guys, a little bit better because of the EuroLeague experience where he was an MVP. And I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
But Luka has his own struggle, and that's most of the time with the referees.
Yes.
So Luka, all these guys are going to mature right before our eyes, and it's going to be something fascinating to watch. But as far as the Kings are concerned, you'd like that from De'Aaron. I think he eventually gets there because if he doesn't, they will look for somebody who does. That's just a part of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just hope it does come from him, because I think the thing is he just has really good leadership qualities. Like he's somebody who you would want to be the shining example of what to be as a professional. Like you said, he never gets too high, never gets too low. I think a lot of, especially young players, can learn from a guy like that. And I think if he's willing to give it, I really do think he would be a great leader and somebody that should be a great lead by example candidate. And it's just, it's something I think positive, definitely, that you can take. It's just you hope that he eventually takes the reins and no pun intended, takes the reins and feels like that's part of his responsibility, because I do think that's something that Mike Brown has kind of introduced to him these past couple years is, no, dude, this is you. This is your team. We go as far as you go, and you need to exemplify that in all areas. And I think that that's kind of a new challenge for him, that again, it's one of many things that he's trying to figure out right now. And frankly, it's probably one of the least important when it comes to winning right here, right now. So I think it's going to come in due time.
Yeah. Well,
and if it doesn't, it's fine.
Patience is a virtue as long as it's coming from someone on the team. And then that's when people will look at the 1-2 punch and how viable it is moving forward. A lot of it comes down to this playoff run is going to decide so much, not just for the Kings, but okay, how good do the Thunder look to be? How good do the T-Wolves look to be? Because that is going to force the Kings' hand on a lot of these things and say,
absolutely,
okay, well, we thought we were close because Steph and LeBron are out. But now you have these young dudes and these young teams, now they're on their way. And the Nuggets don't see, and Memphis is going to make a return. Yeah. So this offseason is going to be one for the ages, I think, depending on how the playoffs all unfold. Niners get their guy or guys. We discuss and we take your calls. Are you happy with the new defensive coordinator, Nick Sorensen, and the Niners' decision to stay in-house with somebody who maybe doesn't have as much experience as you would have liked? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The NBA app is everyone's app. Every fan of every team.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone who follows LeBron, Tatum, and Embiid in the app. Every warrior who's ready to go to battle over three-point percentages. Every streetwear king who's here for the tunnel fits. Every young buck, nugget, and grizzly who wants to take a peek behind the scenes of the league. And everyone else on this floating basketball we call Earth. Download the NBA app today. Available in the Google Play, Apple app, and Android stores.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Zone 1 report.
Fidium Fiber Internet is fast becoming a hometown favorite. With a dedicated connection and speeds up to 2 gigs, Fidium is winning over fans every day. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can experience the best internet in the game. Visit FidiumFiber.com.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
The Niners got their guy 1 year as 49ers defensive passing game and Nichols coach, Nick Sorensen. He was a defensive assistant in 2022. He is now your defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. They also bring on Mr. Cat Cow himself, Brandon Staley, as an assistant head coach. That is basically what Anthony Lynn was last season, who is now in Washington. If you're asking me what that person actually does, I think it's just, hey, this guy has some ideas. We can pick his brain from here and there, but there's no plays. There's nothing like that. Yeah. I saw a really mixed bag of reactions when it was announced. I saw some people that really wanted the big fish. I saw some people that really wanted a big brand name, but I think a lot of people close to the Niners felt as if the Niners didn't really want to swing for the fences as far as somebody random. They just felt like they did not have their scheme intact. And the number one thing they wanted to make sure is that they got that back in motion. They made a couple other moves to bring in some guys as well on the defensive side of the ball. So I think they weren't really tripping over the big name because it was more about, hey, big name and wrong fit, we're going to be right back in this situation. It doesn't matter what type of brand name this person or that person is, if it doesn't jive with us. And our guy, KJ Wright.
That's right.
Now joining the Niners staff as well.
So random.
So he's leaving his radio job, right?
Yes.
You'd assume, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have to. It would be a tough sell to
he was at
work
Bonneville
for the Niners and then
Bonneville guy?
On,
that's right.
Seattle.
That's like our coworker.
It pretty much is.
We kicked it with him in Vegas.
Yeah.
Sneaky tall.
Dude, he was so tall. I was just telling Emil about that.
It wasn't sneaky.
It wasn't sneaky to me.
Yeah.
So the Niners get their guy or hire their guy in Sorensen. You bring in Brandon Staley. 916-339-1140. How do you feel about the decision? Hit us up on the text line on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. All guests and callers, join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Also on the Sac Chat and or Sac Mob on the YouTube. I mean, my initial thoughts, pretty much, they played it safe. They're going to give this guy an opportunity, right? They did the same thing. This is what Kyle does. D'Amico Ryans didn't have a ton of experience. He'll promote guys because he believes in his system so much. So,
and that's worked better for them.
It's worked better for them.
Steve Wilkes.
Right. That's right.
So
that's right.
I as the Niners fan of this show, I'm here for it. I did get some info from our insider Emil about 20 minutes ago. Brandon Staley and Kyle Shanahan have the same agents. So that may have played into something. I didn't know if you guys talked about that.
Yeah, we saw that when he was still in the running for DC
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, so we did know that. Yeah.
Do you think they brought up their guy to DC and Kyle or whoever Lynch was like, well, we still need Staley to be a part of this somehow. So we'll bring him in for this role.
It's interesting
because it's weird that there was two different roles for him kind of set up.
Yeah, they got
I don't
announced
know.
at the same time too, didn't they?
Which is the right
Pretty
move. Yeah,
much.
that's the right thing to do. How to handle that. But I don't know. I'm not against the Staley thing. I kind of like the inside hire. I was on this very show being like, Belichick, let's do it. Let's go for it. Or I don't know if I said Vrabel, but I was here for that too. I was here for that brand name. But the inside hire is consistently solid for this team. So I'm here
it
for
has
it.
worked. And, a lot of people say, well, Kyle wants a yes man, or Kyle didn't like Steve Wilkes because he couldn't just say whatever he wanted and didn't end up going with a Dave Merritt and the things that he had to say about the
almost had it
about the Niners. The only question I would have, and I would assume that in anything in life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a business relationship, communication is key. So as long as they're all on the same page with why Brandon Staley is there, and Sorensen doesn't feel as if somebody's looking over his shoulder or he could get undermined at any point in time. We didn't hear about Anthony Lynn once.
Right.
Not once last season, which is good. That's how it should be. So you hire Brandon Staley because you like what he brings to the table. And as long as you have a conversation that there's no, hey, it is kind of awkward because he wanted the job.
It's definitely awkward. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a consolation prize, this position?
And if you're Brandon Staley, just to use Anthony Lynn as an example, Chris and I were talking about this before the show. So he's the assistant head coach last season, Anthony Lynn, right? He's been a head coach. He's been everything. Now he is the run game coordinator for Washington. So I'm assuming that's considered better to get him back on track because I'm sure he wants to be a head coach again.
Right.
This seems like, hey, Brandon, kick it with us because I like you. We got the same agent. Kick it with us. We're going to be successful. We're at least going to be in the playoffs. We can say that you helped out. It's almost like a redemption situation for Brandon
Staley's
Staley.
stock.
He gets all the good without
exactly.
His stock is at an all-time low right now.
Exactly.
So bring him in at this point. Yeah, like you said, the run game coordinator. Washington is their own bag of worms. They're going through a giant transition yet again. They're trying to dig out of a hole. They're doing what they think is right. It's probably more money. I don't know how much money plays into these guys' game plan like that because money's thrown around.
Money for the Anthony Lynn's new role.
I think he's probably making more money.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn. And they probably offered him more. I don't, people always talk about Washington's a mess, but they probably threw him more money than he was making as an assistant head coach for the Niners. Staley, my point is, though, all-time low at the stock. Hey, we're cool, same agent type of feeling. We'll bring him in. Well, yeah, we'll bring you up and get you in a position to get back into coaching like Anthony Lynn is doing. Because if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Lynn was the head coach of not Denver. He was a head coach somewhere.
He was with the Chargers.
Oh, well, look at that. So, I think it's a rebuilding of his stock, trying to get him back to equal ground.
I mean, it makes sense to me why Staley would take it. It's like I said, it's kind of like you get all of the good. If the Niners are a great team, well, then you get to take credit for it. But there's no, if the defense is bad, Sorensen's getting blamed. It's not going to be
exactly.
I mean, maybe some psycho fans out there will say this is actually Brandon Staley.
What's he actually doing?
Exactly. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, it's a reclamation of his viewing across the league. And to go to the Anthony Lynn thing, I would guess that maybe it's kind of like I said there. I think maybe, as a running game coordinator, if the run game is good, you get the direct credit for that. Whereas it's like, okay, the Niners are good.
I see what you're saying.
Where does Brandon Staley's credit go for that? I mean, he gets general credit, but there's not one direct thing you can point to and say, Brandon Staley greatly affected the Niners positively in this manner. So
yeah, this hire too isn't for us. It's not for the fans.
Definitely not.
The fans are not going to remember
all Kyle.
Brandon Staley is a part of the Niners coaching staff a week into the season. Like literally, this is an off-season story. This is similar to the backup quarterback situation with Sam Darnold last year and Trey Lance. This is going to be like Wes Welker was the receiver coach for the Niners for a couple years, and you just see him on the broadcast and you go, oh yeah, there's Wes Welker.
Right.
And that was kind of it, I think this is going to be extremely similar, if not lesser of a deal than that.
Yeah, and right here, Michael Silver, for those worried or those curious about the big name thing, this is from Michael Silver. Kyle's 16-day coordinator search summarized. Called Belichick, tried to get Spags, as per Diana Rossini, tried to pry Ulbrich from the Jets, interviewed 2 outside minority candidates, promoted Sorensen, and brought in Staley to freshen up the back end.
So they tried. They tried Belichick.
They tried Belichick.
I wonder if it's an ego thing with Belichick or what the deal was with that, the scheme, because that's fascinating to me. If they were going to like reaching out to him, and I hope we get some leaks about that. I would like to know more about that.
Yeah, if you're Belichick, I guess deciding basically if you're Belichick, it's all that I've done over these years, and now I got to take a step back because of a couple bad years. It might be time to just hang out with my grandkids. That's just me personally.
I think it's TV time.
Or that. But if you were going to take a step back, it would have been with the Niners. It wouldn't have been with anybody else. So
the narrative.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it for anyone else.
Right.
When we return, continuing the conversation and having a tough conversation about the Bulls who are stuck in purgatory. That is where the Kings never, ever, ever want to be. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Some people just know the best places to eat around town. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know exactly where to go to get exactly what you're wanting. They know where to find the spiciest hot pot, the gooeyest brownies, and the tenderest, most flavorful portobello steak. Those people also know that safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for Allstate auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and vary based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price. For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it.
Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participate in U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
1 ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at 2hugeshows.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
I can't wait to get into some combine talk. We got more Kings here, but I do need to talk some combine talk because I saw actually Xavier Worthy. I saw his first run live. We were just hanging out whenever that was, Saturday. Saw the first run live, and I thought, man, that dude is cooking. And then for some odd reason, changed the channel to something. Maybe it's golf because I'm getting in the mood for my trip this weekend. Chris got you Friday, by the way. He will take care of you as I will be in Scottsdale. But Xavier Worthy starts cooking again, and he breaks the record. And I don't know if you saw it, Chris, but he was moving. But again, these wide receivers, it's just different these days. This kid is like 6 something and maybe 180.
Yeah, it looks like Devontae Smith.
It's just a different time.
Yeah.
They're literally where is the beef?
Yeah.
Where's the beef? Where is it these days?
It's not there. Yeah, I don't know because I saw him run too, and I was like, he looks like the Applejack Cinnamon Man, like a mascot or something. Like he's so skinny, and it's, you know, I feel like back in the day, even like 15, 20 years ago, it just would have been that kid's going to get murdered if he tries to catch the ball going across the middle. And I mean, it's different. He was ridiculously fast. It makes sense. He didn't have much weight pulling him. So it was incredible to see. Combine, this is probably the most I've watched it in the past couple years, but even I used to watch the Combine like it was must-see television when I was in high school and in grade school before that. But maybe it's the way the landscape has gone. I just am struggling to find what the use in all of this is. It feels like we've gotten to the point where we all acknowledge none of these numbers matter. Like, I mean, maybe for confirmation bias, but I don't think anybody is, you know, NFL Network's always going to do their biggest risers after the Combine. Like, I don't know how much that concept really truly exists anymore.
I guess if it's right, because the whole thing is
you got Caleb Williams not doing nothing.
He didn't do anything.
Got Marvin Harrison
Bryce
Jr.
Young had
literally
a backpack.
not talking. Yeah,
Bryce Young had a backpack on the whole Combine last year, and he went number 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do think there's a group where the Combine won't seem as illustrious in a couple years because I just think the top picks just won't go.
Yes.
If you're Caleb Williams and you're not going to throw.
Like a bowl game almost.
Right. Now, Michael Penix Jr., been in the league or been in college a long time, had some injury issues. He's trying to, if you're trying to raise your stock.
JJ McCarthy was there.
Right. If you're trying to raise your stock, you go to the Combine. If you're pretty sure you're going top 10 and it can't help you at all, because all Caleb Williams can do is
Marvin Harrison, same thing.
Exactly, is lower it. If you're
he actually ran slower than I thought.
Exactly.
Oh, he actually kind of dropped some balls there.
You know what it is.
Not as explosive as what I thought.
So, hey, you got me on tape. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Spencer
I'm a good
Rattler,
player. How
Spencer
about that?
Rattler, a dude who needed to go.
Yes, he needed the Senior Bowl. He needs the combine.
He needs all of it.
He needs all of it.
I think that's what it's going to turn into, and I still think it's interesting. But as soon as he probably wishes he had a faster time there, and then you got to do it all over again for pro day.
Right, exactly. And what do pro days tell us too? Because nowadays, like the pro days are pretty much like a recital where it's like, okay, these guys have literally practiced these exact routes in this exact manner for this exact amount of time for the past month. And what really are you seeing besides it's a recital. It's just a performance at that point. You're not even really gauging anything because it's been so prepared and so meticulously designed that it's like, okay, yeah, Caleb Williams is throwing to his favorite people in his favorite building, with all of the circumstances working in his favor. I don't know. I mean, it's a good show. It's great NFL Network can run it all weekend and you can tune in at any time. I don't know truly, like, I feel like NFL scouts go and it's just a time to banter about, right? Like you guys are just talking with each other. It really sounds to me like it's more of a networking event than actually seeing what's happening on the field. To me, that's for the fans now, and everything else. Like the true combine is the conversations had in the in the stands and the dinners had after, and going out to get drinks until 3 a.m. talking with scouts and GMs and coaches and really seeing where everybody falls. I don't know how much the underwear Olympic part of it really matters anymore.
Yeah, I think it is right. If you're just watching with nothing on the line and you want to see some people that were highly favored by whoever you believe helped to create humans, it's fun to watch. It's these specimens, but as far as how much it's shaping the NFL, watchability is not great.
I mean, it used to make or break people.
Right.
Like it used to be, you have a bad combine, you might fall from a late first to like an early third round pick. And, that's more so with quarterbacks, but like it used to truly matter what you did. And it just feels like we've gotten to the point with analytics, with the availability of tape and film and all of it, where it's like, Marvin Harrison's totally right to say, I'm a football player. Like, what does me, doing the shuttle drill have anything to do with me? Like you said, like it's only going to end up hurting my stock. There's no point in me showing you anything because everything that needs to be seen, I've put on tape.
And then did you see the report of Marvin Harrison missing? He was supposed to show up for an appearance and did not do that.
So from what I understand, he just didn't show up.
Yeah.
It was hey, Marvin Harrison set to speak at 1:45. 1:43 comes around. NFL, PR people come to the podium and say, hey, Marvin's not going to speak today. And that was it. And that just was it. And so he didn't plan on measuring. He didn't plan on doing anything at the combine, and pretty much, I guess, talked to a couple teams and then just dipped out. So, and it's, what the thing is though, again, that's not going to hurt his draft stock at all. Cause he's like, what is talking to the media? What is answering these questions going to do for me? Except for, maybe they ask me, are birds real, or do I believe in space? And then it ends up becoming an internet clip and I fall from 4 to 7, it can only hurt it.
Keeping it in the college ranks, Caitlin Clark
man
shows up in a big way, breaks Pete Maravich's scoring record in all of college. And I watched probably 80% of that game.
Beats the number 2 team in the nation.
Beats the number 2 team in the nation, Ohio State. We've talked a lot on this show about the future of college basketball as it pertains to men's and women's. And right now, my wife brought this up when we were discussing March Madness brackets, right?
It's getting that
We've
time,
never,
man.
I know, we've never done a women's bracket with the rest of our buddies, right? Could this be the first year where I think men's will still be, it's just what people are used to. I think men's will still be marketed more, and more brackets will go in and you do the pools with your friends or your coworkers. But could this be the first season where you see, I guess, an uptick in women's hoops brackets, filling them out and watching? Because I'll argue that there are way more brand names and big names now in women's college basketball, and that's what you're tuning in to watch.
Yes.
I think the transfer portal has destroyed men's college basketball
completely.
Worse than football.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Katie during the Minnesota broadcast mention that I believe that stadium was holding or arena was holding the champion or
yes,
both and the women's has sold out, but the men's hasn't yet.
Yeah.
For the Natty,
for the Final Four,
for the Final Four,
which is kind of crazy. I
That's
mean,
how it
same
was last year,
capacity,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Same, like there's no difference in.
Oh, do they allow like the same amount of seats or
same
whatever
seats.
it is?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's kind of that blew my mind a little bit.
It was that way last year too. Last year, the women's Final Four drew more, at least in terms of the ticket prices, was way higher than the men's. And the men's last year was like UConn, San Diego State. That's it. That's all I got. I know that was the final, so that's all I've got.
Why has the transfer portal affected men's and not women's?
It's just, I mean, you have the carryover year over year, and like it has helped the women's game.
Wait, did
too.
the women not have it?
No, they do.
Oh, okay.
They do.
Shout out Haley Van Lith.
Yeah. Because LSU's trying to do something. I think what it is that ultimately the WNBA. I think women's sports in general, specifically if we're keeping it to basketball, women's sports have led to women, I guess, there's less movement because if women put more weight on, in my opinion, on getting a degree and finishing school versus I think women are more realistic. I think if you haven't played that much, you might look in the mirror and say, okay, do I want to go to this other school so I have a chance to play in the WNBA, or I'm going to stay here with my team and my friends and maybe it's close to family, whatever it is, and I'm just going to finish. Whereas men's sports, everybody believes they're going to the league.
Yeah.
So I will go to 4 different schools until somebody tells me what I want to hear.
I think the finances too probably play into that a lot with NILs and people moving.
That's also true.
Being like, the NBA is generational wealth, or essentially can be, and maybe the WNBA is not there right now.
You're living pretty, but it ain't gonna change.
Different mindsets, different. Yeah, when it comes
can
to
change
money.
the trajectory of your life. It's not gonna change the trajectory of
your children's children.
Your children's children.
Right. Well, and it all plays into the fact that just in general too. I mean, women's game has their characters stay for longer. Like if you can build the story of Caitlin Clark from sophomore year through senior year, whereas if you were to have a similar case in men's college basketball, you could maybe do a similar sophomore to senior year, but the difference is he probably spent his sophomore year at Duke, then went to Maryland for his junior year, and then went to Kentucky for his senior year. You don't get the attachment, which is the big thing about college sports. Is you knew, okay, I know what Duke's going to look like next year. I know Christian Laettner is still going to be there. I know Grant Hill is going to spend some time there. And so I have some time to kind of build up the story, build my relationships with those people. And now, it's a year and the guy's gone, whether it's going to the NBA or going to a new situation. You have guys like Hunter Dickinson, who started at UNC and is now at Kansas. Like it's just in the men's game, even if you do stay for 4 years, you're not going to stay at the same place for 4 years.
And the other thing is, on top of the one and done, that also got affected because of G League. Yeah. So you don't even have Zion Williamson's coming through for 1 year. Yeah. So you don't even get the 1 year pandemonium. I can tell you right now, Chris, I can name one men's basketball player off the top of my head. Armando Bacot.
Okay, I was like, as long as it's not Bronny James.
Well, Bronny and Armando Bacot. You know why? Because it feels like Armando Bacot has been at UNC for 7 years.
He sure has.
That's the only reason.
Has been there for 6 years.
I could probably name 10 women's players right now. And I'm not necessarily seeking it out.
Players, right.
It's just they have the
conversation. Absolutely.
And men's college basketball does not have the storylines right now. When we return, we are talking Bulls. They are stuck in purgatory, and how the Kings don't ever find themselves in the same situation. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from in the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Get huge savings on our best selection of new Hondas during our Honda President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Yeah, college basketball, it's a big problem, and it's kind of sad. You know, we have plenty of time to talk college hoops. It's my favorite time of year still, March Madness. I got two W's under my belt as far as picking the correct team. I picked UConn.
Really?
I picked UConn with Kemba.
Okay.
And I think I picked UConn again.
College baseball.
Wasn't last season, but UConn did win the last season. But I know I got two under my belt. And for sure, the first Kemba one. It might have been both UConns. The Kemba one and then the Shabazz Napier one.
Right. Oh, my gosh. I forgot about that.
UConn just randomly just wins.
Just every couple, 8 years or so, they just pop up.
Pencil them in. But we will definitely and don't do any homework, Chris. You can't do here's a rule. This is what we're gonna do when we get closer to March Madness.
It's in a couple weeks.
We will try
2 weeks.
It's nuts. Yeah. It's nuts. We will try to see how many college basketball players both of us can name. What you can watch more, but you can't
right.
Go Google a bunch of names the week before. This is honor system here. So we will play that game because I think it's a problem.
I'm honestly doing some preliminary thinking, and I'm at
I got
2.
Baycott.
I'm at 2.
I got Page's son. Page's son.
Oh, there's 4. Okay.
Page's son.
My list is getting longer.
Bronny
Maybe we
James.
should have it be Nepo babies excluded.
No, then we're not going to have.
There's no juniors, no.
We're not going to have any. Yeah, you can just guess. There are a couple. Like Scottie Pippen Jr., he's still in there? No, he's in the NBA.
Kenyon Martin Jr.?
Kenyon Martin, he's still in there?
Okay.
It is a problem, and we will discuss as we get closer to March Madness. Is it a problem, though, when your team doesn't stink, but is also not going anywhere?
Yeah.
And you got the Chicago Bulls on line 1. LaVine, whether it was nobody wanted him or he was actually injured, he gets shut down. You did not move anyone.
No.
You did not move
person.
anyone. You didn't move DeRozan, who could have helped out somebody, right? You did not move LaVine. You did not move Caruso. And we gave a lot of flack to the Raptors, who they did this for about 3 years, it felt like. This is year 2, I would say, of the Bulls just existing.
Floundering, yes.
What do you do? And how do you avoid being in this position?
You avoid being in this position by locking up yourself financially. Just period. Having no outs is going to put you in this situation. When you pay Zach LaVine, it's been a while since we looked at the contract. It was like $48 million per year, and then you're paying Vucevic $20+ million, and you're paying DeRozan $20+ million. You have nowhere to go. Like, that is your team, and that's why that's where my hesitancy was a bit for the Kings to just throw their names into Jeremy Grant trade rumors, because that's your core, and you don't get any better than what those guys bring you. And so, with Zach LaVine kind of reaching a ceiling pretty early and then just getting hurt and getting hurt and getting hurt, they never were to build a team around them. It's a story as old as time too. Messed up your draft picks. Like Kobe White, just now starting to look like a really, really solid NBA player, but took him 3 to 4 years to get there. Patrick Williams, that's a dude that they took a risk on, took him 3rd or 4th in the draft.
He was one of my guys.
He just hasn't panned out. Like, I mean, it makes sense. There was the Kawhi Leonard comps for him, and it never panned out. I mean, whether it's him playing and never really figuring out his offense, or just the fact that he's been pretty much injured for 2.5 seasons, they just haven't really gotten the guys that they needed to pop. And then, they also had Billy Donovan, who has been good, not great. They had who was the Iowa State coach before that I've completely forgotten about. They were super high on. It just hasn't worked out for them. And yeah, they ended up cap locking themselves to the point where they can't get better. And until they refuse to just rebuild, I mean, they're going to be trapped here because they're not bad. They're not terrible. They don't have, they have talent, but at the same time, they're not competing with the Celtics. They're not competing with the Knicks or the Cavs or any of those teams. They're going to be, I think them and the Hawks are the two teams that have pretty much been in this zone for like the last 3 or 4 years, and just they think that they can add one more piece to get them out of it, but instead they just kind of need to blow it up.
So is that what they're saying by not moving anyone, that they're going to be active over the offseason and look for what's missing? Because that's how you end up in this situation. That is how you end up in this situation.
Stubbornness, really.
Underperforming.
Yeah.
You made gambles and it didn't add up for you. DeMar DeRozan, if you told somebody DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, Vucevic, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Andre Drummond, all on a team, you'd say, yeah, I'm listening. Yeah. And then the East is getting less top heavy, but in an East that is nowhere near as strong as the West, you're in the play-in.
Right.
You got jumped over. So at this point in time, the Magic should not, based on the moves that you made, this is where they messed up, or this is where they see themselves. The Cavs, who have jumped multiple teams, I would say, even though Donovan Mitchell is just probably the most confusing star in the league, but they're not upset about the Celtics, the Bucks. I'd say it's hard to be upset about the Knicks because the Knicks are always going to try to do something. And the Sixers. Those 4 teams, I think the Bulls would say, hey, fine, whatever. We're like a 5-6 situation. That's where we see ourselves. When you get jumped by the Cavs, you get jumped by the Heat, you get jumped by the Magic, and you get jumped by the Pacers.
Yeah.
That is where the issue happens.
Yeah.
Because the Magic, they have not hit their stride yet. They're still young. The Cavs are still figuring it out, and they're balling this season. The Cavs are more established, I would say. They lost last season. The Pacers make a move. Now, and this is how I bring this back to the Kings, because it comes at you fast, Chris. And the Bulls were never the 3 seed or anything like that. But the 3 seed, that's long gone. That doesn't matter now. You can look up and say, oh, wow, the Thunder, this wasn't a flash in the pan situation. They're back. The Nuggets are not going anywhere. The T-Wolves, they're not going anywhere. The Clippers, they're not going anywhere. And you can look around and say, can you believe that we were a 3 seed a couple years ago and now we're stuck fighting for a play-in every season?
Yeah.
It can be dicey.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know what I just said, but it's also, the Bulls kind of put themselves in this situation by standing pat, too. I know I said, you don't want to be too aggressive and go get Jeremy Grant, but also you got to be willing to move on from these guys. Yeah. That's the thing that the Kings have to be willing to do. Like you're saying, teams will just straight up leapfrog you.
Yeah.
And if you just stand pat, you're gonna get leaped over, and teams aren't gonna wait for you. And so yes, absolutely, the Bulls are a great cautionary tale for the Kings of if you're gonna spend your money, make sure you're spending it on guys that you think is right. But at the same time, if you feel like things aren't going, don't just stick with what's worked or what you think is going to work just for the sake of stability. Sometimes you got to take risks, and all the teams you just listed, the Magic, they had to get the first pick of the draft to eventually get over the top. The Pacers, they had to make the Sabonis trade. They had to go get Halliburton. You've got to be active if you want. You say it all the time. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And so that's really what ended up happening with the Bulls is they thought Zach LaVine was going to be their guy. He kept getting hurt, never really elevated. DeMar DeRozan, later point in his career, they just never really got better. And there's so many teams that leapfrog them that now they're just kind of sitting here twiddling their thumbs, wondering, what do we do next? Do we go out and try and continue to build on this thing? Or do we trade off Zach LaVine to the Lakers for Rui Hachimura, D'Lo, and a first-round pick and just say, you know what, our hands are clean of this, and we're going to try and get better in 2 or 3 years. Like, it's a really tough situation, and obviously the Kings are trying to avoid anything that has to do with thinking about draft picks for a very long time.
Right. And, I want the Kings to look at this game tonight, very similar to what is it with Scrooge when it's the ghost of Christmas past,
yes,
and Christmas present and Christmas future. I want Monty McNair to be down there,
yeah,
and look at the Bulls and just realize, hey man, this could be you,
yeah.
And if it is you, I don't know how much longer you'll have a job.
Yeah.
So very important to win this game. Whatever happens this season, we know where the Kings ceiling is. But this offseason, as much as you can do, we understand the market, we get all that, but you make the wrong moves, and the next thing you know, you're on the outside looking in, trying to fight off what is inevitable. And inevitably, the Bulls are going to have to blow this thing up.
They've got to.
When we get back, new rules for the NFL, more games. Is there any reason to play more football games other than football's like pizza?
Money.
At least that's what we hear. Also, an injury to someone on the Suns, surprise, surprise, could shake up the landscape of the Western Conference bottom tier. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Fidium Fiber Internet has put together a heck of a lineup. It's 100% fiber internet. You get a dedicated connection and lightning-fast upload and download speeds up to 2 gigs. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can join in the action.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life. And it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. And kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Devin Booker is expected to be sidelined for at least 7 to 10 days due to a right ankle sprain. The Clippers also will be without Russell Westbrook for a period of time.
Just mispronounce his name.
Careful, man.
Dude, that's so disrespectful.
Russell, to be fair,
so
his name,
come on.
I think what would it be? What would it be called? Somebody a speech like
impediment?
Well, not an impediment, but his name is kind of hard to say. The R's and the W's together.
Alliteration?
Kind of,
Alliteration
right?
with it?
Russell Westbrook.
It is hard. Yeah, you want to drop the R with the W. And
That's right.
It's like when little kids are like,
Michael Strahan would have.
I'm just wondering.
Mess with that name.
Yeah.
Wondering.
I'm just wondering when.
Russell Westbrook.
You ever see the kid at the Minecraft convention who's like,
cannot say
I was wondering how much detonated wham. You never seen that one?
No.
Okay, that's a class internet classic.
Anyway, sorry. Russell Westbrook, tough day.
Yeah, tough day for Russell. And also, as we started on Devin Booker rolling his ankle, and Katie had some things to say about the double teams that are obviously going to show up. You know, you talked about the guys, Chris, that you can't double team in Luka and Shea, guys like that. Someone you can definitely double team is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant doesn't seem to have the ability to get out of the double team like some of the, because he's not the same type of playmaker. He's a scorer.
No, yeah, he's never really been a passer.
Yeah, and he was asked after the game about it, and he just said, I can't really get going when guys are just coming right at me, and there's two of them
right
every single time I touch the ball. So 7 to 10 days for Devin Booker. The Suns already lost. They already lost yesterday to the Thunder, right? So you look at the Western Conference, and the Suns are probably the team that I think you had picked the Suns as a team that was going to fall off a cliff here.
Yes.
So the Suns are behind the Kings right now. They are the 7 seed, and this is who they have coming up next, and they will not. So 7 to 10 days, they definitely won't have Devin Booker when they go to Denver tomorrow.
Definitely.
They definitely will not have Devin Booker when they host the Raptors. And then they most likely won't have Devin Booker when they host the Celtics on Saturday. That's
and Bradley
rough.
Beal's also out.
And so the Kings, once you get in front of somebody, that's how the Kings need to look at this. Once you get in front of somebody, we shouldn't even do pocket watching on teams. You can do pocket watching on teams that are around them, sure. But in theory, you really should just be pocket watching teams in front of the Kings. That's what this should be. Because if the Kings, the only time you got to look at other teams is when the Kings lose, right? If the Kings lose, you're worried about the teams behind you. The Kings win.
They lose a lot. That's the problem.
Well, hopefully not tonight.
Hopefully not. I mean, yeah, hopefully they're past the losing to bad teams portion of the schedule. But I mean, the reason why we've had to pay so much attention to all of these teams is because, I mean, yeah, in theory, the Kings take care of business. And, you know, once they get in front of teams, they don't look back. But the problem has been, for every 2 steps forward, it's arguably 2 steps back. And so, you know, hopefully we are past that point. But at this point in time, right now, I think you still have to look around them.
That's fair. I also think that if you're looking at this thing right here, the Suns are probably cooked with this Devin Booker injury. So we talked to
Booker. That's a great Freudian slip.
Devin Booker injury. You have, like we said, you go to Denver, you host the Raptors, you host the Celtics, then you go to Cleveland, then you go to Boston, you get a break with the Hornets, then after that, you go to Milwaukee.
That's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, like you said, they're not going to probably won't have Booker for most of those, if not all of those. And then even if, Beal comes back, he's not going to be 100% healthy. And it's a lot of weight on KD's shoulders. Also, Grayson Allen has fallen off a cliff here recently. He was absolutely on a flamethrower and then has really calmed down since. So if it's going to be KD and the guys, it's not going to go well for Phoenix. I mean, they don't have enough, and we don't talk about it enough, but KD's up there, man. KD's 34, 35 years old. He can't be shouldering this weight anymore. He cannot be shouldering this level of weight. And he talked about being double teamed. That's what Devin Booker's out there for, man, is to take the pressure off of him. And I'm sorry, but Grayson Allen and
Beal,
Eric Gordon,
Beal,
he's not back yet. But when he comes back
on the way,
he's on the way, and
it might be too little, too late.
You still got to get him integrated into like the actual offense, because I feels like Bradley Beal has played 20 games this year, and so
right. Eric Gordon is 35 years old.
It's another one too. It's like you can't be relying on these guys at this point in the season to be carrying the weight of the season on their backs, especially not when they're in this close of a playoff race too. I mean. And then you throw on the fact that the Suns have the toughest remaining schedule.
Yeah, this is insane.
It's not looking good for our Phoenician friends, man.
Yeah, this is not looking good at all. They still have, after what I just read off, they get a couple breaks. They do host the Sixers, who you can't really sleep on them. The Suns in April. Listen to this, Chris. This is how the Suns end the season. April 1st, they go to New Orleans.
Okay. Tough one.
Next game, they host the Cavs again.
Another tough
Next game, they host the Timberwolves. Next game, they host the Pelicans. Next game, they host the Clippers. Next game, they go to the Clippers. Next game, they host the Kings. And then they end the season they go to Sacramento. And then they end the season by having to go to Minnesota in April. They're done. We don't have to talk about the Suns anymore. They're done. It is Devin Cooker. It's Devin Cooker now. They're done.
Oh my gosh, that's a slow
insane.
cooker right there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's
done.
a wrap. Like, to play 2 games against the Pelicans, who they're probably going to be directly competing with, that is terrible. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. The Suns they're done. Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about them again. I mean, and if they do win, it's going to be a great statement to maybe how good their ceiling is. But man, I cannot see them. They're probably going to finish in the play-in at that point. I mean, they would be my favorites to finish 8th, knowing all of that. That's insane.
If you're the Suns, you're praying that you just get healthy and you can go to, hopefully, if you're the Suns, you hope that, I don't know who you'd rather face between the Warriors and the Lakers. Warriors and Lakers, one of them it'll probably be Lakers Suns in the play-in, that in the bottom, in the 9-10 play-in.
To have Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry as the 8, 9, 10, if that doesn't tell you about the passing of the torch of where this league is going to, that's ridiculous. I mean, for those, I mean, like those 3 guys specifically, it used to be they're on your team, you're winning 50 games regardless of whatever. You could have Delonte West playing next to LeBron, he's going to get you 50 wins. And the fact that that's just no longer the case, I mean, it's a great time for the league, but B, it's just insane that we've lived long enough to see the point where having Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron really only guarantees you an end of play-in situation. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and not to mention, based on us assuming that would put your guy Luka Doncic in that 7 seed. Yeah. And now it's got me thinking, Chris, just as far as the ratings, you would see, is this gonna be a weird time in the NBA where obviously urgency, only 1 game, 2 games, these play-in games, because of the star power, they're going to do better than the first round games. Maybe they might do better than up until you get to the finals.
It seriously might. I mean, if you have Luka, KD, LeBron, and Steph in all of those, some combination of all of those guys, people are tuning in. If you're getting LeBron versus Steph, and then either Steph versus KD or LeBron versus KD or LeBron versus Luka, people are tuning in regardless. And those, like you said, the urgency of it, the 1 game playoff, the thing we're going to be talking about is forget the in-season tournament. Like the play-in is really where the NBA found gold.
Yeah.
And, that would be insane, and I would be right here for it. I just hope that the NBA, which I assume they would do, but put those things on Friday and Saturday at primetime times, and you're probably getting your most viewed television broadcast of the season, because you're completely right. That is must-see TV, and you might even see a weird situation where maybe the league tries to fix it so that Luka is the 7 seed, because, it's a lot better to just kind of get that entire drama than, the Pelicans or Kings actually slipped into the 7 seed. That's just not as juicy as getting all of those big marquee guys.
The NBA has a problem with the Pelicans because Zion hasn't I don't know if he hasn't played enough to be marketable. Yeah. I just don't think we talk about De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox's expectations were nothing like Zion Williamson, and Zion Williamson doesn't even get mentioned as far as face of the league. And that was something where I think everybody thought this is a lock for a guy, and he just, besides some stories about baby mama drama and his beef, and they're
more than a little story.
Well, and their beef with Stephen A. Smith, the Pelicans. The Pelicans are probably a thorn. They're more of a thorn in the NBA side than the Kings, for sure.
They have been for a while too. I mean, from David Stern having to literally take over the team and then veto the Chris Paul trade, to them having Chris Paul and then getting handed Anthony Davis and then ruining Anthony Davis's time there and then moving on to Zion. Like they've had everything handed to them,
right?
And have not been able to. Even now, it's like you guys have Brandon Ingram, you have CJ McCollum, you have Zion, you have even Valanciunas is like a decent center, and you guys just can't figure it out for a season. Like you have Zion as healthy as ever. And it feels like, I mean, they're still, if anything, they're a bigger question now than I think they've been in the past. People just don't know, are you guys elite or are you just here for a good time? And they have the talent to do it, man.
They're there for the beignets and some
The word is out.
The word is out.
Zion's definitely.
I watched that probably 3 times over the weekend because I had to watch the original because I watched the burger one.
Yeah. What's the burger one again? What does he say? He's like,
the problem with Zion isn't on the court. It's how many burgers.
How many burgers?
How many burgers
he's gonna
eat. So now there's a whole beef between the Pelicans.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Well, it could be vegan beef as well. With the Pelicans and Stephen A. Smith. When we return, Kevin Herter praises De'Aaron Fox on Andre Iguodala's podcast. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
Going deep down the sideline for Are You? He's got it, and he's gone.
Chat, can you hear me? Probably can, right? Give me 1 sec here. I got to fix the camera situation. Let's remove this one. Okay. All right, you got me. Hopefully this isn't going over the air. I don't think it is. But I have a question for everyone in the YouTube chat or Twitter, wherever this is. What's the farthest you've seen the beam from, just distance-wise? Like, I was in the Kings Discord, I think this weekend, asking, and I heard 10, 15 miles, which I just don't believe that. I don't think that's true. What do you guys, have you seen it? I don't know. Just curious about distance wise. Where have you seen it from? Can't see it in Grass Valley. Yeah, Grass Valley is not close. That's a beautiful drive though. When you get to Auburn and then you take that freeway. Natomas. Okay. That's Allen's neck of the woods. What part of Natomas, Manny? Do you have like a specific spot? Because the reason I'm asking, I'm gonna make kind of a silly video where I'm like a detective and to see how far away you can see the beam. South Natomas. Okay. The NATO, as Alan calls it. I'm really trying. Okay, second and green. Okay, yeah. See specific locations. Oh, that's okay. Elk Grove from the airport after a win. Started seeing it around Garden Highway exits. Okay, that's pretty far. That's pretty good. The problem is when I look up distance, it's not a direct line, obviously. So if I type in, let's just say to the airport, I put in Golden One Center to the airport. It's going to be, let's say, 10 and a half miles. It's not actually 10 and a half miles away. That's just how long the drive is. It's not a direct shot. It's probably closer to like 7 or 8 if that's the actual distance. But so I'm just complaining, but I have to figure that part out. But yeah, I'm just curious if you're in here. Let me know the farthest place you've seen the beam. Just from anywhere, really. I don't trying to think. The Causeway, you could probably see it, right? That IKEA location in West Sac. That's like right at the Causeway. Different too. Is it better or worse with the cloud cover? Because I've heard better because it reflects off the clouds, which would make sense. And to see it for Elk Grove. Yeah, I think man, it really depends on the weather, huh? In the night. That's probably I can't see it. Can't see it from Discovery Park for sure. Yeah, I see it when driving in to downtown from like Cal Expo. I remember seeing it from there. Well, I appreciate your guys' help and keep dropping them in the chat if you've heard anything or haven't chimed in yet. Oh, the 49er truck spot. That is great. I specific locations are awesome. If you guys want to share. The 49, that's like Natomas, right? Fringe Natomas, West Sac. Okay, cool. Thank you, Arthur. We're coming back now. I appreciate you guys. Maybe I'll check in one more time before the show ends.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia during their spring event and save big on your favorite models. You can even buy with 0 down on approval of credit. Shop your trusted Kia dealership for over 25 years and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
This just dropped, and we have not had enough time to. This came out yesterday. I'm just now seeing it from Sports Illustrated, and this is from Bob Melvin. New Giants manager Bob Melvin has instituted a new rule for his club in his first year with the franchise, and it's difficult to miss during spring training. Now I will be down there, so I'll let you know what the setup is, because this whole thing is let me just read it. Melvin is requiring every person in the team's dugout to stand for the national anthem, and he explained why. It's all about the perception that we are out there ready to play, Melvin said, per The Athletic. That's it. You want your team ready to play, and I want the other team to notice it too. It's really as simple as that. Melvin also made it clear his reasoning has nothing to do with politics, which would contrast with the team's former manager, Gabe Kapler, who stopped taking the field during the national anthem in 2022 after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, and kneeled in protest for several games in 2020 after the killing of George Floyd sparked protests across the country. I'm just trying to figure out, and like I said, I'll be down there. So I want to get, because it sounds like this is a logistic thing. Does not sound like a Colin Kaepernick thing. but I can't confirm until we see, and a lot of these games aren't broadcast. He goes on to say, look, we're a new team here. We got some good players here, Melvin said on Friday per USA Today. It's more about letting the other side know that we're ready to play. I want guys out here ready to go. There's a personality to that. And boy, oh boy, Chris, we do not have enough time.
I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching that one. I
thought it was interesting.
I have thoughts.
Right. You cannot.
There's no way we can have a reasonable conversation.
No, not at the moment. I'll get down there.
Yes.
I think there's just a lot of
report back.
There's a lot of moving parts. I think. I don't think it's about standing or sitting. I think it's everybody. I would assume in front, like in Little League. I don't know. That's what I'm imagining. I will definitely, boots on the ground unless I don't end up going, which the plan is to go on Saturday.
Yes.
I will let you all know
what the contrast
is.
Is it Giants A's?
I believe the game I'm going to is Giants A's.
Okay.
Yes, so I will be there because,
nice.
It obviously this reads a certain way for a reason.
Right, of course.
But it might be much ado about nothing.
Right.
We can't really speak on it.
Yes.
But there was no way I could not say that because we're coming back from break and I say, hey, Chris. And the look on Chris's face.
I was just like, man, again.
Chris is like, what about Kevin? What about Kevin Herter?
Don't have thoughts. It's just,
can we get back to Kevin?
I don't think we have enough time. And B, I'm not trying to split half the audience.
No. We are not going down that path. We literally can't until we figure out what the heck and why that was brought up. But part of me did that just to see the look on Chris's face. I can't lie.
I hope it was worth it.
It was.
I really hope it was worth it.
No,
and don't get it confused. I definitely have thoughts. It's just, again, let's just not. Let's for the sanctity of our own show. Let's just not. It's just not.
Yeah, definitely not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. But what is going on right now is a reunion with Matt Chapman and one Bob Melvin as the Giants sign Bob. I did sign Bob Melvin. Yeah. Chris is still laughing.
I'm just laughing.
The Giants sign Matt Chapman to a very non-Scott Boras deal. It is
actually
3 years. The Giants announced it as 1 year because there's an opt-out after every season, which upsets Giants fans. But at the same time, if you're worried about overpaying people, this is really all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if Matt Chapman balls out, he's gone.
Yes.
Either year.
Right.
If he's just normal, he'll probably stay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's what's weird. If you get a career year from Matt Chapman.
This is the Bellinger contract also had
basically this is what people are doing now.
Right.
If you get a career year from Matt Chapman, he's gone. So if you're a Giants fan, you want him to ball out, but not too much.
Yeah, and it's so strange how they're structuring these deals because it's so player friendly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's only,
but it's both though. It's both team because it's player friendly because that's your only other option because you don't want to give them the bag.
I guess that makes sense. The part that doesn't make sense from why I don't understand why so many teams are okay is because, well, if Chapman has a bad year, he's obviously not going to opt out, and you're still paying him the dollar figure that of which you would have paid him if he played well, I guess.
Yes. If you are a organization, you're hoping that whatever numbers he comes up with,
he plays just well enough that those numbers
worth the money.
Make sense.
It's worth the money. Or you hope out of the 3 years he's right at that line to where the whole projection machine that they're using that it just
makes
right, because the only way he leaves. Right. If he plays under that, he's staying. We messed up.
You messed up, but he's still staying.
But if he plays at it, he might still opt in.
Sure.
The only really this is only an issue to me if he balls out this coming season.
If you were going to get a great value.
Exactly. Because if you
it caps your value.
Exactly.
I'm confused by it.
I think in a perfect world, he plays based to your projection.
Yeah.
Which isn't good enough for him to test the waters.
Right.
Then next season he could have a career year and he leaves. I think that's a perfect situation.
Gotcha.
Because you're off the hook. He leaves. Hey, if you want to, he could re-sign on a new contract if he opts out. But I think that would be a perfect world. Mm-hmm. He plays what you, or same thing, just add another year.
Right.
Plays to what you expect in year one. Plays to what you expect in year two. Year three, career
Contract
year. Hey,
year,
thank you for your service.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And it's declining as well, right? Where it's 18, 16, and 14 or something like that.
That I saw. Okay. So I think that is the way that you would want to kind of make that happen.
And got it done. That's the important thing. You got it done. Yeah.
Now go get a pitcher. Go get Snell, and hopefully we can really
not so fast.
Because there's still, I mean, the Giants have spent the most money.
Yes.
Right, and you can't say that
besides the Dodgers,
who are in just a different galaxy.
Right.
So if you are a Giants fan, you got to be excited about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Looking up Matt Chapman's stats, really, it's you're hoping for the home run pop between Chapman and Soler, because I know nobody cares about batting average anymore, but he is a career 240 hitter.
What's his BABIP, though?
Yeah, his WOBA.
Yeah.
He's got the WOBA. You got the WOBA plus. His on-base percentage, 330 last season, 324 the season before that, 314 the season before that. OPS, 755 last season, 757 the season before that, 716. In Oakland, that's when he was in the 8s for the OPS. Home runs, this is why you should be excited, Giants fans. Last season, he had 17, and I think they said all of them would have gotten out at Oracle Park, or maybe only one. You have, in 2022, the last 2 seasons in 2020, besides 2023, so 2021 and 2022, he had 27 home runs both seasons. So you got to be happy about that. 2020 in the shortened season, he had 10. And then in 2019, when he was an all-star, he hit 36 dingers. So you're hoping that, where's the beef? Hopefully the beef is in San Francisco. We will hear from Kevin Herter and what he had to say about his Capitan, De'Aaron Fox, the point guard, on the Point Forward podcast. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment. Not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back, without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house. Even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Get huge savings on our best selection of new Hondas during our Honda President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations used leather for water skins, armor, and sandals. Hi, this is Franklin Rosa with a word about Nature Wood Home Furnishings. Today, leather is one of nature's most luxurious products. The combination of leather with beautifully designed furniture creates an end product that adds luxury and sophistication to any room. During Nature Wood Home Furnishings leather sale, you'll find their considerable selection of leather is flexible, breathable, natural, and maybe most important, comfortable. Whether you're a relaxed contemporary kind of person or you're more classic leather, Naturewood Home Furnishings has color choices and styles to fit your home. In fact, I doubt any store can beat Naturewood's selection. During Naturewood's leather sale, all leather furniture is on sale for a limited time. Sit, enjoy the comfort of leather at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Keep it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
You host a podcast. You are on a podcast. I don't know if Kevin Herter hosts one, but we will talk about the host of the podcast he was on, Andre Iguodala, and what he had to say about someone that he referred to as Jesus at one point. But before that, let's hear from Kevin Herter, who was on the Point Forward podcast with Andre Iguodala, who had a lot of compliments to give his point guard, De'Aaron Fox. Let's hear what he had to say.
De'Aaron winning that clutch player of the year award last year. All that does for me is solidifies his ability to get a shot whenever he needs to. Like you go to fourth quarters and you guys know how this works. The last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, when it's time to win, you put the ball in your best player's hands and you say, here, go, we're going to get you maybe one switch. It's 5 out and go get us a bucket without us needing to draw play. And so that clutch player of the year, him being able to average 12, 13 points in the fourth quarter is his ability to like, De'Aaron, here's the ball. Here's a one-on-one matchup. Go score. And he just did that time and time again last year and has the ability to do it this year. And so he's really unbelievable. Like I think for me, he's a top 3 point guard in this league for sure. Defensively, I think defensively when he's locked in, he wants to be like his hands and his ability to get steals and back tip it when he's guarding the ball or pressure the ball when he's on. Like I know it's impossible to do as an NBA player, as an all-star for 48 minutes of a game, but he can just he can snap his fingers and he's the biggest flip a switch guy in this league. When he wants to guard and he wants to put effort on that side of the ball and really try to lock someone up.
There's a lot there. I mean, he talks about what I was talking about earlier, where I say like De'Aaron, his leadership needs to come last 3 minutes of the game, like being that steadying presence. It's interesting to hear Kevin say he had that last year. He has the ability to do it this year, but we just haven't seen it. And that's kind of a bit what I feel like I've seen with my eyes is it's just, they had that level of comfort with him last year, but this year with you haven't had the De'Aaron Fox game winners that you had last year. Hasn't been as much reliance on him in the fourth quarter. It feels like it just hasn't been as prevalent, that leadership this year. And I'm not saying it's by his fault. I just think those occasions haven't really risen as much as they did last year. The other thing is Kevin mentioning there the flip the switch thing. He's the biggest flip the switch guy in this league. I don't know how to take that because on one hand, it's saying, hey, when this guy's on, there might not be more than 4 or 5 people who are better than him, period. It's also saying, he's got a switch that can be flipped, which I think everybody does to an extent, but if what Kevin's kind of saying there is the difference between everyday Fox and 100% fully locked in Fox is as big as anybody else. What does that mean for the everyday Fox that we're getting? Does that mean that maybe we should want more from him? And I don't think that's the intention of what Kevin's saying, but having to read too deep into that, it's just, it's a blessing and a curse, I think is what it is.
Yeah,
I think it's better with a guy like Jamal Murray, where it's like, yeah, it's great when Jamal goes from good to great because that takes, it takes pressure off of Jokic and you have Jokic there. But when De'Aaron is your guy and there's really, head of the snake, we go as far as you go, and he's elevating his level, but doesn't have somebody else who to work off of. Like, what does that mean essentially? I think it's a positive, definitely. But
it is a positive because that when it's money time, De'Aaron is going to show up.
Yeah.
The thing that we struggle with is everything that we've seen throughout this season. Exactly. I mean, I don't think De'Aaron has had a bad season at all. I think he's had a darn good season.
Right, yeah.
But then there's a level of a good season and an elite season.
Yeah.
And I think the elite part of it is what you're looking for, because if De'Aaron and it's not about putting it all on De'Aaron. This is just us trying to figure out where he's going to fit. He's going to continue to improve. He's going to continue to progress. But if De'Aaron had played at a higher level, at a more consistent clip, maybe they're not fighting right now.
Exactly.
Maybe they're already in the 4 seed. Maybe they're in the 3 seed.
Look at Shea. Shea's played elite all year.
Yeah.
And where it has his team right now, number 1 seed.
And that's why these and it's not just him, but that's why the triple bonuses, the triple doubles force a bonus. Those things. Oh, well, he's doing it on a loss. What's the deal? That has nothing to do. That doesn't mean it's empty calories. That means somebody else needed to step up too.
Exactly.
That's what it means to me. If you're losing and putting up a triple double, somebody needs to help me.
Yeah, he's like, it's not on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are, especially when you watch it happen. There are all triple doubles are not built the same or are not the same, but these are in the flow of the game.
Yep.
It's just Sabonis being a dominant presence and a dominant player. So you're looking around here and you're going to say, man, Sabonis is 6th. And again, Sabonis is 6th in the MVP ladder. And they're in the 6th seed right now, fighting to stay in the 6th seed.
Yeah.
So somebody else needs to take that responsibility.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think they're capable of it, which is, I think, is the most frustrating thing, is that there's so many signs that this team can be great. It's just not being able to pull it together. And I think it is interesting that, again, you say that not you, but people say that your team will follow suit or take on the identity of your best player. And De'Aaron has been as Kevin says, a bit switch flippy and a bit, while he has been good or has been great, even his season has been a bit inconsistent. He went from De'Aaron Fox, 30-point per game scorer who's shooting 40% from the field, to then slumping a bit and, trying to figure it out, to then being injured, but still having these great games. And, and I think that's kind of where we're at now, where we've seen him be injured, but he's still capable of putting up 40-point games. He's still capable of putting up, high 20s on any given night. It's just, I think the team has kind of fallen into, we go as far as De'Aaron takes us. And if De'Aaron isn't locked in every single night, he's locked in 2 of every 3 nights. Well, it feels like the Kings kind of replicate that or match that, or maybe even sometimes, even when De'Aaron doesn't bring it, everybody else isn't there on that night. And so you only win 1 of those 3 games. I think it's just been really tough to, like you said, just not have another guy. I think Sabonis has been that guy, but just not being able to find consistent play across the board has really hurt these guys.
How many games do you think, just off the top of your head, how many games do you think the Kings have won where De'Aaron's switch has not been flipped?
Probably under 5, if I had to guess.
That's not good.
I even think of because when I hear switch flipped, though, I do think of the James Harden flip that we saw from De'Aaron, where De'Aaron just, something clicked in him and he decided, I'm locking up James Harden. I'm going to get this turnover. I'm taking over this game completely. We haven't seen that guy that often, but when it's, if De'Aaron Fox is scoring under 20 points, the Kings probably aren't winning that game. And if he's not getting a couple steals at least in those games where he's scoring under 20, if he's not having that defensive impact, there's no way. There's really no way. I haven't really even looked at those numbers. I know Brennan and Frankie last week pulled the numbers just in general of the Kings record when they score under 120 points is, 5-15 or something crazy like that. It might even be worse, but I have not checked De'Aaron specifically how they do in performances where he doesn't necessarily show up, if you will.
It can't be very good.
Let me see. I'll look for it right now. Let's see.
Yeah, it cannot be very good. Speaking of De'Aaron, from the 916 on the text line, what percentage would you give De'Aaron Fox to play tonight? I'm going high.
I am too. He said yesterday that he's optimistic that he'll play today. This is now his third shoot around he's played through, so it's not like he's completely immobile. I would put it at like 85%. I'm pretty confident he's going to play tonight.
I was going to say 85%,
Beautiful.
so I will go 86%.
There you go.
If you're texting us, send your name.
Yeah, put your
Send
name
us
on
your
it.
name. It's more fun.
Just so we can shout you out.
If we have regular texters too, it's impossible to track numbers. Not impossible, but it's silly to look at numbers and recognize them. Send us your name.
Put your name on it.
Put your name on it.
So Whitey used to tell me, put your name on it. Or
There you
tell
go.
the audience.
Thank you, Nate, for
See
that.
here.
Yeah, when I initially heard what Kevin Herter say, I didn't think about it the way that you're presenting it, but it does feel like this team is starting to match who their leader is.
Yeah. Kings are
And
5-7, by the way, this year when
he
De'Aaron
doesn't
scores under 20 points.
That's better than I
5-7.
thought. But
That
it is
better,
only
yeah.
It's only 12 games, but it's only 5 wins.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. One of those games is one of the Denver games. One of those games is the Orlando Magic double overtime game. One of them is the Charlotte Hornets game in which he scored 19. And the other one is the Atlanta Hawks win in Sacramento. So not many games in which De'Aaron hasn't played well.
What was the game after the Nuggets?
The Nuggets game, and then it was not the there was Orlando, Utah, Charlotte, and Atlanta. And in two of those wins, in which again De'Aaron didn't score over 20, he had over 3 steals in 2 of them, and then had 2 steals in 2 of them as well. So in 4 of those 5 losses, or 4 of those 5 wins, he had a major defensive impact in those games.
Yeah. You are always going to take the appearance of your leader, and at this point, you just got to say, okay, the Heat game, right? The Heat game, did De'Aaron? I don't know if he had over 20 in the Heat game, but that game, De'Aaron had it switched off, and the Kings just followed suit. So some of this is mentality, some of it is actual production.
Yes, yeah,
because if the
yeah.
switch is off and you score under 20, it's not about identity. It's about we just need the production.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
I just think and hopefully we're just past the point where any of this matters, because all of this is winning time. All of these games are important. And, hopefully they bring that attention to every single game. And I know it's probably going to be hard in the month of March to do it for an entire month, but at the same time, this is if it's not now, then it's probably not going to happen. And I think this team knows that this is the time to really take advantage. I think they know that they've squandered way too many opportunities this year, and this is about as easy as it's going to get all season long. So if you're not taking advantage now, then you're just maybe you just weren't ever meant to be one of the best teams in the league, because this is a golden opportunity. We listed off all of the Suns matchups. It could get a whole lot worse. And so if you can't take advantage of teams like the Bulls and the Grizzlies coming up, and even the Lakers, I just think, at the end of the day, those are the teams that you have to beat if you truly want to be viewed as one of the best teams in this league.
Yeah, you can change a lot of people's minds in this month alone.
Absolutely.
Simply by taking care of business.
Yep.
We bring up school a lot.
Yeah.
You do your homework, you probably shouldn't get worse than about a CC+.
Right, absolutely.
Right? Because doing your homework, you have that percentage of it, and also helps you with your quizzes, helps you with your tests.
Yep.
You got to do your homework. Tonight, for the Kings, you got to do your homework.
Dave made almost the exact same analogy this morning. He said that Carmichael Dave, he said that the Kings are the student that ace the test, do really well on the test, but do no homework, and their grade is drastically affected by that. And I think that
goes to show like they beat these good teams and don't show up for these cruddy teams.
Exactly.
So I thought that was a good analogy.
Exactly. Yeah, we're all saying similar things, and ultimately the Kings got to figure this out. When we get back, Andre Iguodala had Kevin Huerter on his podcast. Andre was doing some talking on his own about his own situation, and let's just say that out there in the Bay, they weren't thrilled with his comments. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sactown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Kevin Huerter went on Andre Iguodala's podcast and was saying a lot of good things about De'Aaron, but kind of reading between the lines on some of it, being a little nitpicky. Open enough to say that on this show. That there are areas, and if you want to be a guy, you got to show up every single night. Now, somebody that another comparison of this has been the Steph versus Kyrie debate, and how Steph shows up every night and Kyrie does not. It's a hot topic, I can tell you very much. After that shot in 2016, it has always been a hot topic. So Andre Iguodala, who is on record as calling Steph Curry Jesus, okay? He's joked around and called him Jesus, but Jesus does not fear him enough to take the last shot. This is what he had to say when he was asked who he would fear more, who he fears the most in taking the last shot.
Tie game, playoffs. Who are you most scared of?
Kyrie Irving is not even close.
Whoa. So wait, you're going with Kyrie now over everybody we've talked about.
For the last second shot, I'm going with Kyrie. You talking about fear factor at any given moment, or for like that moment, Kyrie. Because I mean, with Steph, I think he's proven to teams that you can double him, and if you could just try to get the ball out of his hands, then I guess that's the way to combat him. But with Kyrie, he's just so good. Like, he's able to, you can't get the ball out of his hands. Allen Iverson said Kyrie was the best ball handler in NBA history. And I've been told that I was crazy for saying that. But Kyrie, you talk about fear factor, you ask anybody in the league, that's a scary guy to see.
Honestly, it doesn't matter, though, because Iguodala is the laser beam guy. So he's the Martian guy. So he's taking the shot, right?
That's right. Fair or foul, Chris?
That's foul. You cannot do that to your old teammate, who is a big reason why you have that Finals MVP and
why you're getting interviewed.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
That's kind of crazy. Like,
it's actually insane.
It's kind of, again, one of those things where even if you believe it, like, maybe just don't say it.
It's so weird. It is not his brand at all.
It's not at all. He's so smart.
Riding for Steph this whole time. And honestly, I think the explanation might have been worse. That you can double Steph.
Because it kind of made sense, but it's...
Yeah, but you can't... I don't know, the idea that you can't double Kyrie.
No, it's weird.
Handles. It was bizarre.
It's very weird. It's more... And like, because to your point, it's almost presented as more of a, here's what Steph can't do, as opposed to here's why I just have to take Kyrie. Like, it's very, very strange from Andre Iguodala there. He's a lot. I
right.
The argument was a lot more calculated. And
yes,
I would say calculated. I won't say smart, but I thought he was a lot more calculated.
The argument of whether or not he's correct, that's his opinion.
Yeah.
The argument isn't whether he's right or wrong. It's just a bizarre thing. It's almost, you could have said, I think the thing is, you could have said anybody. Say LeBron.
Sure.
Say anybody, not that guy.
Is it really that deep over there?
It's real. The Kyrie,
Wow.
I mean, people do not like Kyrie in the Bay. It's just the shot. It was the shot.
Crazy.
That shot ruined everything.
For sure. I just would have thought, yeah, like LeBron, like, I mean.
Maybe it's different now. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not, now that he's on the Mavs, but I mean, that Christmas when he made the shot over Clay.
That's true too, right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yes, especially because you're the guy who's seen more Steph Curry than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's in a weird, there's weird comparisons that come to my mind, but it's like, we'll say it's like Harbaugh passing on JJ McCarthy. It's like Vlade passing on Luke. It's like, wait, you're supposed to have more knowledge of this guy than anybody else. And if you're saying he's not your guy, well, then what should everybody else? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why would anybody else? And what should we read from that? Is Steph true? Like, it just opens a lot of conversations that the Warriors usually are very tribal. Usually they're very like, we're great. We love Draymond. I don't care what everybody else has to say. Our guys are our guys. Even KD to an extent, they say, forget, I know the fans call him Cupcake, but KD's our guy. Like, I don't care. We're not going to let, people bash us, and for it to be coming from within is not, I mean, that's just, especially Steph, like you said,
friendly fire.
They're Jesus. And he just threw him under the bus.
Yeah. And if he, I can hear Andre Iguodala now saying, oh, well, I think Steph is a better player than it doesn't matter because the narrative of, and the thing is, Steph could win this
knock on Steph, too,
right? And Steph is going to win
already.
this clutch player award, but nobody's going to care because they're going to lose in either the play-in or the first round or something like that. So no one's going to care. Oh, he is clutch. He won this award, and then people are going to laugh at the award. So it was not on brand for Andre Iguodala, and sometimes it be your own people.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It is. He could have answered that in so many different ways. I think that's the thing. That was the worst.
He
way
should
to
have
answer
just said, "Hey, man, my guy Steph aside."
Yes.
Like just like
right, right.
Like you said, there's just so many different ways of saying what he wanted to say without creating more controversy. Like, I don't know I assume that this thing definitely made waves in the Bay Area. And, I just wonder if this does, I don't think a lot of people are going to look back and reference it, but is there a little bit of tarnishing from Warrior fans' feelings towards Iguodala? Because that is a direct shot at Steph. Like, again, he has to know more than anybody. The guy who got the MVP, the finals MVP, because Steph could not be clutch enough in that series, essentially. Like, he didn't show himself enough to quote unquote earn the MVP. Iguodala probably should have known that that's a bit of a sore spot, I feel like, for Steph's legacy.
Here's another out that he could have taken. You run the option, right, as a quarterback.
Yeah,
you have other options.
Triple hand.
The one option is when he got asked, wait, so you're taking him over Steph? The one option is I've never played against Steph, so I don't fear Steph.
There you go.
He's never been on the other side of Steph. So he could have just said that instead of explaining
we should
why.
work in PR, man. We should just work in
That
PR.
was
just dump this.
Instead of explaining why it's not Steph, just say I never faced Steph.
Right. I never
faced prime Steph, so I never had to see that side of it. Andre Iguodala.
Nice.
I told you these podcasts, man.
Yeah.
These podcasts, they'll get you, but keep doing them though. Keep doing them though.
It's great for content.
Great for content.
Appreciate the segment,
When we
Andre.
return, more
2
football.
seconds. Thank you, Andre.
More football. Quite literally, the NFL is trying to expand. Surprise, surprise. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Monday forecast includes mostly cloudy skies, limited sunshine today, and there might be a brief or stray shower this afternoon. Expect daytime highs in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia during their spring event and save big on your favorite models. You can even buy with zero down on approval of credit. Shop your trusted Kia dealership for over 25 years and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
One ticket, two shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at twohugeshows.com.
Guys, this month only, Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers qualified patients a free supply of ED medication to kickstart their treatment and enhance intimacy. Book your free T-check, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jake Owen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise Guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
honestly, I don't even want to count the Lakers and the Warriors, but Boston was crazy. Lakers was crazy. Warriors was crazy. And the other one that was crazy to me was Miami.
Yeah, the other day.
And I think that one surprised even you a little bit.
Got the flu.
But you're talking about the Bulls, or you've been talking about the Bulls in this manner.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm telling you.
Because I did not think the Bulls had a following like this.
It's so random because, like, the first time I noticed it, it was kind of like what it was with the Heat the other day, where it's just, wait, it got real loud in here all of a sudden.
Right.
Did they, like, that was for a Bulls bucket, and then you'll look around, even during the pregame. I don't know, maybe not as much tonight because they have lost a good bit of star power, but maybe people are excited about Zach LaVine. I don't know, but I think it's a bit of like the legacy stuff. I mean, obviously this guy named Michael Jordan played for them. And I think there's a lot of carryover from just, that brand, that logo being thrown out so much. If you go to PacSun or whatever, there'll be Bulls random stuff there. And I think that honestly has a lot to do with it. It's just the fact it's like the Dodgers. It's just, it's around, the apparel's around, the Yankees, same thing. The apparel's around. And so it just kind of becomes people's favorite team without them even really thinking about it.
Can I ask you guys something? This was a question that was asked to me.
Okay.
I was walking. This was before we went to Las Vegas. I was walking the Las Vegas Strip and was stopped to talk about sports or something by some social media thing. I never saw the video. I signed a thing.
When was this?
Probably a year ago. Or
Okay.
Over the summer. I don't know. I was walking the Strip. I was stopped and asked, what is the biggest sports city in America? And I had to sit and think about it. And I said Chicago. That's what came to my mind first. And they said that's what most people were saying. Do you guys have one that beats that? Because it's not LA. It's probably not New York.
I mean, I might be biased, but I would put Philly up there.
Yeah.
Philly's pretty insane.
Because they're crazy.
Yeah. Sports towns. I mean, Boston's up there for sure. Just how much they care about the Celtics, the Red Sox, and the Bruins. And Boston would probably be one of the first things to come to mind. I actually probably wouldn't think Chicago. I just don't think.
I was just
maybe
thinking
it's the Bears haven't been good.
Legendary status is kind of heavy there in Chicago. Gale Sayers.
You have to have all three. Number one, you have to have all three.
And they have hockey.
Yeah. And they got 2 baseball teams.
Yeah.
So they're in the so if it's New York,
2 baseball teams might make it worse, honestly.
Probably.
I think you kind of need one to
just kind of
But they both won championships.
That's where Philadelphia might have an edge.
Yeah.
I would put for sure New York in front, which New York is just New York.
Right.
I don't even know how you would count New York, but you'd have to put them in front. So I would put Philly in front of Chicago. I'd put New York in front of Chicago. I'd put Boston in front of Chicago. But then after that, nothing is screaming to me.
I think in a weird way, Vegas is definitely getting there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Too early.
Yeah, too early. What about Pittsburgh?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
they did film the football scene for The Dark Knight Rises in Pittsburgh.
They did.
So that plays into it.
I mean, the Steelers fans are great, obviously. Pirates just haven't really given them much to support. Penguins, I guess.
No basketball.
But even then, I would probably still take Philly. I'm
taking. I'm saying anyone that right now that would have Chicago as my number 4. I'm trying to see who bumps Chicago.
I'm that guy on the street. I'm asking you right now. What's the greatest sports city in America? Go.
I'm saying Philly.
Okay, Chris.
Probably Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because the story.
Yeah, and then you have the Cheeseheads and that area with the Packers
and the Bucks.
Bucks, Brewers.
No thanks.
Minnesota underrated though, Chris. You got the Twins.
Yeah,
underrated.
Yeah, I don't know how much they really care about the Timberwolves.
Pretty
there.
properly rated.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd say Vikings fans get a pretty good rap, but Twins don't know how much they're really moving the needle. Timberwolves don't know how much they're moving the needle. I think they do love their Minnesota Wild for what it's worth, but
it's cold out there.
It's freezing out there, so it's not surprising that hockey is pretty high up there. But is there any maybe we should? Is there like a West Coast king of sports? Because every place that we've listed has been East Coast.
Well, I think the colder the place is, the more dedicated the fan base is.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of crazy.
I'm sure it's not a coincidence either.
Like, yeah, we literally Milwaukee, New York.
It's
Buffalo,
the cliche
Bills.
California thing to say, but
Yeah.
we just have so much stuff to do.
Other stuff to do.
That's why I ruled out LA immediately.
Yeah.
And they got the 2 baseball teams.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care about the Clippers. I think that dilutes the product having the Clippers there.
I mean, does the Bay need to be thrown into
Somebody
this
put
conversation?
San
Well, it's the
Francisco.
only one. I mean, it's
916. Well, yeah. Who else is going to go up against the Bay? That's not in the middle of America or on the East Coast.
Yeah,
there's no one else.
Man, Vegas is stepping up. Vegas is.
We can't have that conversation now.
No, not yet.
They have enough events there to where it pretty much is like a year-round sports city.
Well, this is more okay. We will come back to this because the problem is now the question is sports town.
Yeah.
Right. Fun. Historic,
Yeah.
you got to put them all into categories.
Sure.
That's
I
the
think
issue.
historic weighs in my book. I think that kind of weighs most of the takes most of the weight. Is what I'm trying to. We didn't say any of the Texas. No Dallas, Houston. None of that.
That's too big of a state. Got too much going on.
Yeah.
You got like 3 teams and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Florida?
Dallas, I mean, obviously Cowboy fans, but Maverick fans aren't. They don't really set themselves apart as anything special. I'm not saying they're bad, but
And then you have the Texas Rangers,
the
who are just
Stars,
Texas.
yeah.
But then you have the Houston Astros.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, and then San Antonio, you Spurs, Rockets.
They got into their own.
I think
they got
Philly
into-
and
I forgot
Boston
about
are
the Rockets.
Philly and
They got too
Boston
many
feel
teams.
like the best 2 traditional, all-encompassing answers because you
Yes.
have winning, you have long history of just them being there, you have history of them winning, and then you have just the psychos that are their fans.
Yes, and I think that LA and New York are separate because they represent the biggest markets.
Yes.
New York is better than LA.
Sure, but
When it comes to
Yes,
fan
when it
base.
comes to actual hardcore fandom, I would
yes,
say so.
without a doubt.
And we're talking New York City, not the state, because then you have to include the Buffalo Bills, and it
Who
gets
are
a little
maniacs.
Who are maniacs? So who add more to New York's fire?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Literally,
Yes.
literally,
Yeah, they put it on the table.
they grease the poles.
Yeah.
So that's Philly, actually, isn't it?
Yes.
Arthur Smith on the Sack Chat says, I was surprised so many Pistons fans were at Golden One last month.
I don't recall. I mean,
We were
I'm
in
always
Vegas for
surprised
that. We
there's
were in Vegas for
Ah,
that.
that makes sense. I'm always
Yeah.
surprised by any fans that I'm like, oh, there's a couple
You chose this
stray
one, huh?
Victor Wembanyama jerseys out
They
there.
went with
It's just like-
Bagley. Bagley went to the Pistons, and they're like,
Exactly.
now we are. So now they're over wherever. Where's Bagley?
Now
And
he's in Washington.
Now they're diehard Wizards
Yeah.
fans.
yeah,
DC
just like some of the
is a tough
jerseys we see,
one.
it's crazy.
DC is, they have everything, but it's
Right.
also got presidents out there. It's not,
Exactly.
it's not gonna be
There's a lot
sports
else
town.
going on.
Yes. Like, go see the White House.
Yeah.
And also, we got
Go
these
see
guys.
the Nationals.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Don't think
And
one
then,
of those.
and then they have what is it? The Nationals. So you're thinking, okay, that makes sense.
The Wizards.
But then they come out of nowhere with the Wizards.
Yeah.
It's just
Is Baltimore underrated?
Commanders.
Baltimore sneaks under the radar a little
Baltimore
bit.
is definitely underrated. But
I know the
yeah.
Ravens are new.
it can't play with you can't play with the big boys. It's underrated, but I would put Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the same.
Did we mention the Houston Texans too when we were going through Texas? There are so many teams there.
There's too many.
We didn't mention any of the Florida teams.
But like none of those fan bases are crazy enough to be considered like in this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Like Cowboys work, but like no, nobody's ever talked about Dolphins fans are just out of control.
No.
Tampa Bay Bucks fans. Oh,
Jags.
just wait until you see a Jacksonville Jaguars fan rolling around. It's like
It's rare.
I'm sure they care.
What
but
about-
it's
what
like,
about-
I don't think they make
What
it.
about up north with the Northeast with the Patriots and
That's Boston.
oh yeah,
Boston.
that's Boston.
That's Boston.
So you're good.
And if you're
there.
talking north, then probably Chicago makes sense. I mean, that's the biggest city with the most teams, but even maybe it's because the teams have kind of done them a disservice, but it just doesn't feel like Chicago's had like a really big sports. I know the Blackhawks were pretty good here recently, but like there hasn't been a, oh my gosh, look at Chicago as a sports city right now kind of moment. Obviously the Cubs winning
When the
a
Cubs
couple years,
won.
but
yeah, and I don't know. That's why the historic thing plays so big for me. Like they've had the Cubs are historic, even if it's been bad. You get Jordan,
Sure.
the greatest player ever by most, and then I mean Blackhawks have that recent. I don't know.
maybe
they're-
it's
their top 5.
I just feel like the identity of Chicago, like Boston, like their fans feel like they cross over all of the sports. Like Boston sports fan, for better or worse, has a very clear identity, and it feels like a Celtics fan is also probably a Bruins fan, is also probably a Patriots fan, is also probably, you get the point. I don't know if in Chicago a Bears fan has the same identity as a Bulls fan, has the same identity as a Cubs fan.
Yeah. Yeah, part of that issue
I'm not saying people, but just like the what you would imagine as the attitude of those fans.
Yeah, part of that is what Nate said with the two baseball teams.
Sure,
the two baseball teams
up,
dilutes it a little bit. But I get what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying. It's the camaraderie of, I'm a Boston sports fan.
Yes.
I'm a Philly sports fan.
Exactly.
A Chicago sports fan may not necessarily ride with all of them, or at least not the same.
Yeah.
That plays into the Patriots too, because the Patriots make up several states, right? Am I wrong in saying that? They like Maine and all the like.
Yeah, I think
New
it's
England.
a lot of Maine and Massachusetts.
Growing up, I was always like, "What is New England?" Like,
I
what
never gave it
state's
much
New England?
thought.
I don't remember learning that in 5th grade.
Yeah.
New England,
and they're going to suffer from the same thing as the Bulls, and that's where you see how long this thing will last, because who knows what's going to happen to the Patriots.
Right.
So that they end up in their own entity.
Yep.
Right. I do think because of Tom Brady, that group of fans probably deviates the most. It's like a bunch of misplaced Patriot fans that love Tom Brady but don't like the Red Sox.
what about Jordan too, though?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the same thing.
It's the same.
I'm saying it's the same.
We didn't
thing.
even mention
Too wide of a
Cleveland.
net, almost.
Cleveland has
Right.
some pretty iconic franchises.
Cleveland, and
Ohio in general.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Got
We
Ohio
will get to all this in a even deeper manner.
This is
during
awesome.
the
We
summer.
didn't touch on college, guys.
We don't have
This
the
is a
time.
summer conversation. Sorry
it is
for
not.
bringing it up now.
It's okay. When we return, Matt Chapman signs with the Giants. We also have prop talk and dog segments. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keep it here to Sactown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Keegan, quick catch, quick strike. There's another one up in the lights and in the well. 10 3-pointers made. Keegan Murray putting on an all-time scoring exhibition tonight.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
This segment is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville. Check them out at kiavacaville.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, I took the half-hour drive to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, and I came home with the finest car I've ever owned. I'm rocking that brand new EQS SUV they outfitted me with, and it's stylish and so comfortable. I love Mercedes cars. Also, Mercedes builds amazing commercial vehicles. Now, if you own a business, Mercedes builds commercial vans capable of any job. And with special interest rates as low as 4.9% on new Sprinter vans, plus the available tax breaks on Sprinter vans for commercial use, choosing a Mercedes van is a smart move. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a huge full-service commercial fleet center. Go see my good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Just a half-hour drive down I-5 from Sac, and it's online all the time at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Sold on report.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Time for Prop Talk and Dogs segment. Hopefully we're helping some people out. I had a good weekend. Wink, wink. But didn't get to help you there on the Sac Chat. They had said that we have been helping them out with some of their picks. Hey, no promises here. This is just what we're feeling.
Should we recap Fridays just to see if we did help anybody? I know I lost on Friday.
Yes, let's do it.
I know I lost on Friday. I had what did I have? I had the Jaden McDaniels 1.5 blocks and steals, and he ended up with 0. So
that's what you get for picking and then he goes on to salt your favorite team. That's what you get.
That is,
I told you stop doing that.
Yep. No, you're right. I definitely should have listened to you. You were on it, and I will no longer go to the other side of the fence. So lesson learned, and glad to be on this side of the fence. So I did that. And I actually just realized that we didn't write down anybody else's.
I see them here. Yeah. I got hooked with Malik. It was 4.5 assists. I got hooked he had 4.
There you go.
So I didn't get it done either. And Simone had Harrison Barnes. I'm pretty sure that must have hit, right? Yep, 14. Simone.
Yeah, 14.
So Simone hit.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Well,
and Chris,
Alan and Simone can help you.
Yes. Hopefully we can help you tonight as we get into our prop talk.
Let's do it. Let's talk some props.
Now, I would say that, honestly, because Chicago was where De'Aaron, I think I'm going to go pretty easy here.
Nice.
I'm bleeping nice. De'Aaron is at 25 points. You can also find him at 24.5. Just depends on where you're rocking. Ooh. I'm going to take the over on 24.5 for points.
Not 25.5, though?
I wouldn't take 25.5.
Ooh, you're cutting it close.
I mean, yeah.
All right. I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
Let's do it.
I think Domas gets a triple-double tonight.
Ooh.
His assists are set at 9. Therefore, he must get 10 unless he gets 10 steals or something crazy. But I'm going to go 9 assists, Domantas Sabonis, more.
Over.
Smash the over.
Okay.
So 10 plus for our guy, Domas.
I like that. Yeah, they dropped it down the last couple weeks down to 8.5 because it was at 9 for a bit.
Yeah. He's been living in that area.
Right. So I like it. I feel good. Chris, keep it rolling.
Yeah, I am looking on the other side of the fence. I'm not going to pick it, but I just see, Nate always inspires me to do the 0.5. It's either all or nothing. It's either happening or it's not.
Is this a dunk again?
It's not. It is a DeMar DeRozan 3 made. Oh. He doesn't shoot a lot, but we know the Kings allow every team, doesn't matter who
it's at home, shooting arena.
It's shooter's arena, right? So I'm looking at it. I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go with Domantas Sabonis rebounds and assists. Let me see here. The number is 22.5 rebounds and assists.
I like that.
I just feel like he can get 15 rebounds easy, and then terrible at math. That's 15. I would just need. I'd still need. Yeah,
8.
I need 8. I need 8. So
I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 22.5 Sabonis rebounds plus assists.
I like the DeMar DeRozan not making the three.
I
like
wanted
the,
to do
the
it,
less. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay,
That's
the
negative.
less.
Yeah, I like the under.
There you
The
go.
not getting it.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's gonna take one.
It's like Sabonis, right?
Yeah.
It's like he's gonna take one, and it's either going in or it's not.
He's kind of the mid-range king, correct me if
Yes,
I'm wrong.
absolutely.
Right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, with the Kings defense, I think, man, that is, I like the argument both ways. So that means it's a bad bet.
It probably means that it's
Yeah.
it's a bad bet, but which is why I didn't take it, of course.
There you go. There you go. Hopefully we help you out.
Yeah.
But no promises. And now it is time for our dog segment.
And it's coming.
There we go. Dog segment. Chris, any initial feelings?
Yeah. I want to go with De'Aaron, actually, but I'm just afraid if he's not going to play. Like we said,
fine.
I would put it at 85, 90%, but you just never know. I mean, we've thought he was probably had a chance to play these past couple games. Tonight, obviously, feels like the best one. I'm going to pick De'Aaron, but I'm going to be specific. Actually, I don't want to be specific because if this comes to fruition, it means that things probably didn't go how the Kings would want it to. But De'Aaron and DeMar DeRozan are two of, by stats-wise, the most clutch players in the NBA. I know we were talking about Steph and his claim for being clutch player of the year this year. DeMar DeRozan is second right now in clutch points. He shoots 49% from the field, 50% from three in clutch situations. He's probably number two right now in the clutch player of the year odds. I would love to see him and De'Aaron go head-to-head down the stretch, but I also wouldn't because that would mean that the game is close, and it really doesn't need to be. So I'm just going to pick De'Aaron to have clutch moments before the fourth quarter.
Okay, so De'Aaron Fox. Arthur Smith on the Sack Chat says, I'm taking Keegan as my dog, 20-plus points. Arthur, I'm so close. I'm waiting for Keegan to have another Regan Murray night. It has not happened so far. And you know, based on who he's checking, who's he going to check? DeRozan? I think that's a pretty good matchup for Keegan. So maybe he's able to do some more things offensively. I want to roll with you, Arthur, but I'm pretty sure I picked Keegan on Friday, and I don't want to go back-to-back. Nate, go while I try to figure this out.
I'm going to pick your forbidden player.
Uh-oh.
The guy whose audio we played.
I almost did it while you were gone on Friday.
He tried to do it on Friday. Nate, literally,
Bro, it's every time I'm gone.
You had just left the room, and I was like, I think I'm going to go with Kevin Herter.
Oh, my
God. No, I didn't take him.
Why are you like that,
No, I didn't
dude?
take him, though. I didn't take him, though.
Yeah, you can't do that. You
take
don't even
It's
talk
pretty
about it
disrespectful.
anymore.
Yeah, it's
I know.
honestly pretty disrespectful.
Yeah.
So you're taking
I'm taking Kevin Herter. I know I didn't see him on any of the prop things because I like lately when we've been doing this, I like to roll them over, do that 2-for-1, like take the dog and maybe take Kevin Herter 2.5 threes over.
Yeah.
But couldn't happen tonight. I'm taking Herter though, and it's kind of to spite you.
Look, I want him to ball
I
out.
hope he goes crazy.
Dude,
hope he
and I might
goes
take him personally,
bananas.
even though I can't take him on the air.
You literally cannot take him on the air.
I
Like
can do
even if
whatever
you
I
say it doesn't count. No, it doesn't go into the record books.
You have right here Manjot Herter for 17 points and 8 rebounds. That would be a great night for Kevin Herter. Okay, so you got De'Aaron. You got Kevon. I don't really want to do Keegan Murray because I did Keegan Murray last time.
You don't want to take the softballs either.
You know what?
Fox and
Take the
Sabonis.
team leader.
That's exactly where I was going. Trey Lyles.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying at least 2 threes tonight.
Ooh.
And he keeps the guys in the headspace where they need to be. Trey Lyles is my dog.
He's a leader
I like it.
tonight.
I think that's a nice little three-headed monster there.
By the way, quickly, Russell Wilson, the Broncos have told Russell Wilson that he will be released.
See ya.
We will have more to say about that tomorrow.
Real quick, where do you think he's going? Got about a minute here.
Vegas makes a lot of sense.
Don't do that.
I don't
do that.
like it. I don't
I
like
think
the fit,
I think
but
they won't go to Vegas because of what just happened with Jimmy.
Oh.
I think Sierra wants a residency. That's what I think.
Oh, wow.
She's going to be doing a lot of 1-2 stepping.
Vegas was on the initial list.
I don't know if she's got
Russell
enough
Wilson
for
I agree.
residency.
I definitely agree.
You guys
I don't
don't
know
think
if Russell
Steelers?
Wilson agrees.
I like the Steelers, but they keep saying they're good with Kenny Two Gloves.
He also just doesn't seem like a cold weather guy. You know?
He's in Denver.
No, I know. I don't think
I
that's
have no
best
clue to
for his
answer your
play
question,
style.
Nate. I have no clue.
But I mean, you'll get into it tomorrow.
Who wants it? That's the question.
That is truly the
Like,
question.
Who honestly would even
Sack Chat is saying Pittsburgh as well. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Thank you, Nate, as always. Drive Guys up next to get you ready for Kings Bulls. And hopefully tonight, secure the bag, light the beam.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the